Okay. All right.
Okay. Welcome to another episode of Verbal Laxative. I'm Jason.
Brian.
And I'm Zinzin.
And that's all today. Hassan's not here.
We'll see you in the next 2 weeks.
The suspense what people are waiting for.
Thanks for
Hassan.
listening.
Bye. No, this is a welcome back. We were on hiatus for a while because I went on vacation, and when I'm gone, everything falls apart.
Yes,
So.
because you wouldn't let us break into your place to record.
Well, I said you guys should take my equipment to record, but
Yeah, we got nowhere to do it.
no, there was no. Well, we have your house, your
No, my
ultra
place
secretive
isn't-
house.
I have no room. I actually have no room to set up.
So many red flags are being raised right now.
Unless you do it in my kitchen, but then you might get fridge sounds.
It's okay. It's much better than furnace sounds.
I don't think so.
I've mastered
my fridge
the-
is would be as far apart as me from Brian right now.
I wouldn't worry about it. I've mastered the art of noise cancellation. We can cancel out the noise of your fridge. The only downside is if your voice is the same frequency as your fridge.
Which it can be,
No, it
I
won't
tend
be.
to
It's not.
hum at a low
It won't.
tone.
It won't be. It won't be. It's just red flags about your place.
Okay, well, maybe next time then.
But you're going on vacation tomorrow.
Yes. We have seen each other for 2 days and then leaving.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yes.
Just
As it
crossing
should be.
paths.
Yes. Crossing paths before he goes again.
So you went to China, Japan.
Yeah.
I'm going to Hawaii. And
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if Brian has any vacations, but
I'm stuck at work.
for the whole thing, are you working up till Christmas?
No, probably the staycation. Just stay
No, that's
in
good.
town.
It's good. It's what I would have preferred. Save money
Yeah.
for another trip.
Yeah. Staycations are very underrated because it's actually pretty good. To take a staycation, just take days off, stay at home.
Stay home or be anonymous, not have anyone know where you are.
Well, no, it's just to just rest and do nothing at home. And
Yeah.
Vacations are they're not as restful because you have to plan things. You have agendas.
If you have to travel, yeah.
If you travel, yeah.
Yeah, staycations are basically just free for all. Not free for all, but just
You
free
just
time.
do whatever.
Yeah, the best part is your morning starts when you wake up.
Yeah,
like,
you do whatever
sleep
you
in
want.
and you do whatever.
Yeah, you don't have to wake up early for anything.
Exactly.
Well, people with kids usually, if they don't have to use their vacation days to take their kids to whatever to do stuff take them to doctor's appointments and stuff, then most of the time I hear about these parents, they take staycations.
Yeah.
So I
see that.
consider actual vacations. There's two different types. So, for example, last year I went to Japan, and that's more of a sightseeing. You walk a ton. And then the other type is what I plan to do this time in Maui.
Yeah,
which
go to
is
the beach.
Relax. A
like all
relaxing
inclusive,
vacation.
just sit around.
Maybe not all inclusive,
Yeah,
but
I
it's
can't
like a
afford
beach.
all inclusive, but yeah, I'll just lay on a beach for a lot of the time.
Like
you
you're
just
not.
actually relax.
Like there's
Yeah.
nothing planned really.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So,
the other thing that I like.
Which would you prefer though?
I
Relaxing or
alternates.
traveling?
Because it alternates because well, it gets to the point where I guess you sort of get tired of the just sitting there at the beach the whole time, and then you can also get tired of just traveling. Like just traveling around intensively on schedule, like you would in like in Japan. I think the best I like is when I alternate. So I feel like traveling to these places and have sights to see. Then I go do that. But then next vacation it'll just be beach.
So how do you actually do your vacations? Do you let's say how you did Japan? Did you actually plan stuff out? How scheduled?
A little bit. It was planned out. My wife made itineraries for all
basically
that.
for throughout the day, you have things
but it
this
wasn't.
time to this time.
Yeah, but you have to be flexible on that too, right? And the itinerary changed a bunch of times too, just because we felt like doing something or we didn't feel like doing something,
Yeah,
or we
that's
melded
good.
days together. I think, when I usually travel, myself, I didn't plan for shit. Right? I had the most basic of plans. I'd be like, oh, maybe it'll be cool to see whatever. And if I didn't see it, I don't care. I didn't have even a time of when I should go see it. But it's nice to have, I guess, someone make it for you, a schedule. It's like your own little assistant that gives you.
As long as it's not super strict or anything.
Yeah, if you
Doesn't seem
have
like yours was, so that's good.
if you have your time all the way down to when you have to take a shit, and you're like allotted like what, like you allot like 7 minutes 40 seconds for taking a
7
shit
minutes,
at
that's
like
not
12, right? So like if it was at that point, then it's too much. That's
His
too
wife gave him
suffocating.
7 minutes.
And 40 seconds, it'll be like, oh yeah, I'll give you 7 minutes. I need more than that.
You better be wiping by now.
Yeah, I'll give you 40 seconds on top of that.
Wouldn't be much of a vacation if all you're getting sleep is during your travels. Like you have to sleep on the
Yeah, yeah.
you're
Well, even
constantly moving.
if you have an itinerary you follow, if you have to follow strictly, and yeah, you have to travel all over the place. Yeah, you're not getting rest. This vacation is not you getting rest, right? This is you just trying to like maximize your time.
Almost feels like a business work trip kind of thing.
Yes, and it's supposed to be for pleasure, but it's more exhausting than if it would be for work.
This might be interesting, but Brian, what do you prefer then?
Kind of like what Zinzin said. So what I would like to do is each day have like maybe one event that I would try and make for it, but most of it would be like free time.
Yeah,
so I would try to plan a couple of things that like I would like to see, and then like have a free day that you could just kind of exercise free will.
Yeah, that's actually. I thought it'd be more structured than that, but that's basically what I did. Is just like a day would have one main goal, and then the rest is just like whatever's on the way or coming back or super loose. But
because I feel like when you plan too many things, even 2 or 3 things, your whole day would be so packed. You're just way tired that the next day you don't even feel like moving too much.
And plus, you get that mistake when people planning stuff. They don't take into account some of the details that you don't think of until you're actually doing it. Like maybe I'm gonna see this and see this place at point A and see this place at point B, and you've only allotted yourself maybe like an hour to get there, and then you realize, oh no, the train is usually packed, and it's not that easy to fucking haul your shit all the way down over there.
Yeah, and that's really difficult to
because on paper it's like, oh, you planned everything out on paper, but when you actually do it, then there's a lot of stuff you never considered.
Especially if you haven't been there, you don't know what travel is like there. What is rush hour there? How available are public transit?
People do need to wing it a lot. They need to be willing to wing it. They can't just be a stickler for the schedule.
Yeah,
when you do
I think there are people like Europe and Japan. I think are areas where people like to jam a lot of things, like especially Europe, because you can get to a lot of different cities through train. They try to visit as many places as they can because it is an expensive destination if you live anywhere outside of Europe.
Yeah,
and so to go there, you kind of feel like you gotta make the most bang for your buck. So you go from London to Paris.
That's
to
what's
like
gonna
Germany.
screw me over though, because I'm supposed to go to Europe in like March, so that's why I'm super poor. But
maybe you could do what they.
damn it.
Maybe you could do what the really scummy people do, where it's like, please give money to me. I'm backpacking. I need money
You
to
could be a
backpack.
foreign backpacker going to the hostels.
If our listeners here would want to back me on this trip, I can do a special edition podcast in Europe.
Adjacent vlog.
Yeah.
Get your
We'll
friend
talk
that
video.
added us on Twitter to do
Yeah,
it.
shout out to the one person that follows us on Twitter.
Yeah.
We have one
You
Twitter
should do a
follower
meetup.
now.
Be like, hey, I'm here in Germany. Meet me up.
It's his friend. He'd be like, fuck
Yeah.
you. What?
My friend will actually be there with me. You know how we like ask people like, hey, you got suggestions for topics or whatever, say it on Twitter? Right now, my one friend that follows us on Twitter holds a surprising amount of power.
Yeah, so what? Did he make any requests?
No.
Are we just a hostage
Wow.
to our only follower?
He's
Sits
not.
there,
He's
yeah.
not exercising his power right here.
Yeah, I don't think he knows how much power he holds.
He's like,
Anything he says, he's 100% the audience opinion.
oh yeah, he's like, oh, stick your finger in Brian's bum, and then I'll be like, you won't even
It's
be
an
able to
audio,
see
like,
this.
fucking-
I want to hear it. ASMR.
That's some ASMR.
All
then.
right, customer is king. Here we are. Doing this for free.
It's almost worse. We pay to do this.
Oh man. So, anyways, yeah, in Japan, I seem to be setting it seems to be like a tradition, but every time I've gone back there, I've had diarrhea. I've had diarrhea, and it'll be like in the middle of the trip.
It just sounds like you're not accustomed to their food.
Yeah, as they say, it might be that, or it might just be unlucky. But yeah, fucking. I know Jason's had a story where he probably had diarrhea in Japan.
Well, it wasn't really even diarrhea. It was just one instance of that last, like, it was 5 seconds and that was it. But that wasn't because of the food in Japan. That was, I just landed, got to my hotel, and it was like late at night. So I was just sitting on the bed, just trying to relax for a bit. And
Sharted. He sharted.
How do you guys handle your diet when you're traveling?
I
Oh,
eat
you know what
whatever
happens?
the hell I want.
You know what happens? Usually I get actually quite bunged up when I travel. Like my
constipated?
body feels like knows that I'm away from the country, and then as soon as it leaves the border, it's like, all right, time to close up shop. And then
So you eat less then?
well,
Seriously?
I guess. Well, you get that feeling that you just bloat. I get the feeling that I'm just kind of bloated.
Oh, yeah. If you feel bloated, you don't feel motivated to eat.
Yes and no, because depends on what I eat. I might just be like, oh fuck, I gotta stuff more of this inside of me.
I generally don't notice any different.
Okay, but you don't manage your diet when you're traveling, right?
Yeah, oh,
I never do.
I kind of do
You kinda
because
do? Okay.
I'm always worried. Like, when you're traveling, you're always thinking like, oh fuck, what happens if I really gotta take a shit somewhere,
Oh, yes.
right?
Yeah.
But is that more managing your diet or just mapping out?
Well,
your-
for me, it's like, oh, in the morning I won't. If I'm gonna take like a long trip, like a train trip from between cities, between regions somewhere, I usually will be. I'm not gonna eat that much until I get to the destination.
Because, like, say you're, working out on a daily basis.
While I'm
and
en
you're
route,
eating clean
yeah.
and stuff, and then when you're on vacation, like, how does that affect your daily routine?
There's
Like,
definitely a change, like, because you don't get any sleep. You have to go there on the plane, right? And you get there, probably the stuff you eat is probably a little different at different times than what you've been eating while you're at home, right? So
yeah.
I feel like there's obviously changes, and your body knows it and it feels it, and I don't know, like, it just fucking yeah. So that's why I kind of sort of watch what I eat.
Okay.
But I still go for the good stuff. I'm still gluttonous.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't even, like, at home, I don't watch what I eat or anything. I don't count calories, and that maybe that influences, like, when I go on vacations, I still just eat whatever the hell I want, so I don't notice a difference because of it. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, because one of the things with travel that's bad is, like, it's a time where the scale gets heavier, like, when you come back, right?
Yeah.
Like, you splurge, you eat a little bit more, and especially, like, as you said, you're a lot more tired, and you're not cooking for yourself, so you're always going out to eat. So it's really easy to pack on those calories.
You can, but if you're also, you definitely can if you're going on like a cruise or you're going to the beach. But I feel like when you're going to a place where you're walking and traveling a lot, and especially if it's hot and you just sweat
burn
it all
off a
out,
lot.
you burn it off quite a bit. And we did a lot of walking. I mean, in Kyoto, we almost walked the entire fucking town.
Yeah, Japan is a very high walk score. Like, when I was traveling there, my feet was aching all the time.
Yeah,
just destroyed
definitely.
your feet.
Yes. I don't see how you could wear those. What was those shoes? Like, it's like the wooden sandals.
Clogs, yeah.
Yeah, the clogs. I
those
don't see how people could wear those.
There's no way. This is why they kill themselves.
Maybe that's why they don't use them anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's right.
But when they were using them, they had killed themselves a lot.
Actually, when I was in Japan, though, towards the end of my trip, I lost all feeling in one of my toes,
Oh fuck!
and that lasted months. I don't even know if it's normal now.
Jeez.
Months. When did you notice you could feel it again?
I don't even know if I can now.
Maybe it's just your shoes,
No,
though. Isn't it?
I don't think so. Well, it could be. I've had those shoes a long time, and they're like running shoes. So
I mean, because when you're walking, it's not. You said your toes lost feel.
just one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not
I don't know
usually
why.
your toes that you're actually
Unless
getting
I, like,
tired on.
Did a like hairline fracture?
Yeah.
Or like some weird.
Or it's
thing happened.
usually the shoe that you're wearing. If it's squishing your toe the whole time, then
I wouldn't think so.
you get problems.
I'm gonna use those same shoes on my next trip here, so we'll see.
Just completely wear that shit away.
Yeah, it's fine. I think I got feeling back in it like normal.
That was one thing I didn't like about when I traveled with my parents. They had this thing where when you're traveling somewhere, you also have to have new clothes to travel to. I thought
New
that was
clothes?
Yeah, like she would ask me to like buy new clothes when we're traveling to somewhere.
Oh, maybe that's just something your mom wants. Like,
Yeah,
your
it might be
preference.
my mom thing. I don't know if it's a culture thing, but
Like kind of forcing you, like you should buy something, or
Yeah, like you should. Yeah, like those.
I think it's
Like
your mom.
don't bring like old clothes. You gotta buy new clothes and.
Unless
shoes.
she's like praying to some deity over like buying the new clothes and stuff. I think it's just your mom.
she's
Yeah.
talking to like employees at stores, like if you give me a commission, I'll get him to buy something.
Possible.
But I guess if it's cheaper, but usually it's I don't know. Like you buy shit over there, it's just more shit that you got to bring back anyway.
Yeah. Do you think? Have you done that trick where you put a suitcase within a suitcase?
Yeah.
So when you come back, you bring a
So you-
shitload of
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
I haven't actually done that myself.
Like
but
fuck, leave it. Okay,
I
last
just
time.
pack light.
Like, what do you expect to buy a lot of things?
Yeah,
or
that's
or
if
it's just
you're-
like the idea, like, oh, I should bring a lot of
No.
things back.
No, that's.
I think it
just-
depends where you go.
Yeah, you're buying a lot of shit back. Like when we went to Mexico, that was just going to the beach, the all-inclusive hotel. We didn't bring excessive amounts of luggage, but in 2 years ago when we first went to Japan and we were staying there for like 3 weeks,
Yeah.
we brought like suitcase within a suitcase, just bringing basically just 2 suitcases per person back. Total of 4, right? And we still shipped stuff back from Japan too. And that was a shit show by itself. Because I don't know why this happened, but we went to one post office to go ship some stuff. That went smoothly without a hitch. Went to another one, and this one was in Kyoto, coincidentally. And it was such a fucking hassle. It was just such a shitty nightmare of shipping stuff back. We already had it. We brought it in this big box. All the stuff we wanted to ship, it was already taped and everything. Person there, and also it's kind of hard to communicate by English, but she basically was like, "No, you gotta open it up. I gotta see whatever you're shipping, each and every single item, or whatever, right?" And then I had to open it up and show this, show
And then-
that.
Oh my
Up
god, you have to
again.
itemize everything.
Yeah,
That's
no,
so
and she had to see everything that was in the box.
She
and
just didn't trust you.
yeah. Well, I was like, well, the first post office that we went to, there's like no one cared.
Yeah.
Well, this one, it's
A little
different.
more relaxed back then.
And then she's basically like, oh yeah, it's different. She's basically just saying, whatever, fuck you.
Just gotta accept it.
I've decided to do this to you today.
When you eat, do you guys eat the culture's food? Like,
Yeah.
Like you eat
Yes.
Japan's breakfast? Like not,
Yeah.
you don't eat like European breakfast or American
No,
breakfast?
yeah, I don't eat the hotel
In
breakfast.
Japan.
Yeah, so for
Yeah.
example, if you're in Japan, would you eat like natto?
Yeah,
Yeah.
at least I'd try it if I haven't had it before. But if
Yeah.
it's something I know I don't like, then
Yeah, because
obviously not
their
gonna have it.
breakfast is a lot more different than
Yes. Korean and Japan breakfast. If you're not used to it, you eat rice for
You eat rice
breakfast.
and
It's
fish
yeah.
and
Well,
pickled veggies.
rice is a big deal because for Japan and Korea, especially in Korea, I find that a lot of people from there, even the young people, they have this kind of like. They're just used to eating rice for meals. So if you don't eat rice during a meal, for a lot of people, they're like, oh, it doesn't even feel like a meal unless there's rice in it. And it could be, I guess maybe exceptions are noodles or whatever. But like if they're eating, I've even seen people where they're like eating, I guess, pizza or whatever.
With rice.
Well, they would say, well, this is not really a meal because there's no rice involved, right?
That's like me with meat. It's not a meal unless it's with meat.
So yeah, that's one way you can like empathize
So
with
would
them.
you just eat a Beyond Burger and be like, I'm not even full?
Well, it has something that's
something
supposed
feels
to me
something
be
feels
meat, so-
missing.
It still feels wrong, but no, like if we're talking beyond meat or something, I think if there's something that's supposed to act as meat, so that might qualify.
Okay, fair enough.
I never had a full meal that was beyond meat or anything though.
Something
When we tried it, we only had a quarter of a sandwich. So
Like, yeah, if I'm having like even if I have spaghetti and there's like no meat around, it might feel kind of weird.
Yeah.
And I always find it so strange that people would order like fucking like the traditional Italian pizza,
Oh, you're talking about
like margarita pizza,
Yeah,
where it's just
basil
it's just
and cheese.
sauce and
Yeah.
cheese.
Well, cheese is the meat.
Well,
cheese
well,
is-
that's the main thing of the thing. But to me, I'm like, well, what are you doing? This is just eating, basically an appetizer. It doesn't feel like a real meal to me.
well, it's
so.
like thin too and everything.
So to those Koreans that really love the rice, I can understand a little bit. still fucking weird to me at all. Cause the weird thing is Chinese breakfast. You don't usually eat rice for breakfast.
What wouldn't you consider congee rice?
Well, that can like it's
Kanji's
not dry,
gross.
not like
Not
a
a fan.
fucking bowl of
You're
rice.
not a fan of congee?
No.
Not the preserved egg with
But like,
Indian pork?
but even the Chinese one, it's not a bowl of rice, right? It's not like a bowl of fucking dinner rice.
Yeah.
And then a lot of Chinese breakfasts would actually be more palatable to like the taste that you eat growing up here, because a lot of it has egg in it. It's just a fried egg with whatever like.
Well, even in China, because it's so big, the breakfast cuisine is different depending where you are. Too.
It is.
Like Beijing and like
It is, but
Guangdong is very different.
yeah, but you get the like throughout the whole country they have really common staples, and one of the
It's like the fried dough.
yeah, well, yeah, fried dough is one, and the other one that a lot of people eat because you can usually get on the go is the fry. It's like basically the egg tortilla thing.
Is egg like a really big thing in China?
Egg's a really big thing.
Oh, yeah, egg tarts.
Everywhere,
It's
yeah.
huge.
Egg tarts.
No, not
That's
egg
like-
tarts, but egg with stuff.
Yeah, I could see eggs with stuff.
yeah,
One thing I really enjoy. for-
jiandanbing. That's what's it's called.
Jiandan.
I think
I think I had that.
jianbing. It's just
A lot of buns I know in China.
Yeah,
I had a lot of buns.
but you don't really have that for breakfast. But for you have the other stuff like congee and like the,
congee. Yeah.
There's no way to describe it. I can only say it's kind of like a tortilla.
Oh, I see. It's like a street food kind of thing where
is.
they scramble a bunch of eggs, toss it on the heat pan, put in a bunch of vegetables, and then just.
Well, yeah, it's either they put in some meat or you can just have it with the egg.
Is
and
it like
whatever.
the Vietnamese thing?
It's a wrap, kind of more or less. It's a wrap.
Yeah, it's just
Vietnamese
like
is-
a burrito, but with the egg. on the
Vietnamese is
outside.
weird too because
It's like a crepe, I guess.
depending where
Yeah,
you.
like the Vietnamese
An
thing
egg
is like
crepe.
a crepe kind
Yeah,
of
it's a
thing.
crepe. Yes, fuck.
Yeah,
I
it's just a
couldn't
crepe.
remember the name. Yeah, it's basically a crepe. The Vietnamese. Sorry. Depends on where in the country too. It's kind of weird as well because they would like to eat. They eat food for breakfast, especially down in the south.
Well, if it's
I
cheap.
wouldn't argue that.
I love pho.
Yeah, but but here's the thing. I think I've never been there, but this is what I hear and what people tell me. Especially if you're in the south, like where Saigon is and stuff. There's a bunch of people that would only consider eating pho during breakfast. Like they would view it as a breakfast food. Like if you're getting
Oh.
like, it's almost over here if you're getting like bacon and eggs and shit, right?
Yeah,
In the south of the country, they usually most of them just eat it for breakfast. Maybe in the north of the country, they would consider eating it for lunch or whatever, dinner as well. But
Yeah.
it's like south, they kind of just feel like breakfast time is noodle time. But on that, like there's some places in China where they eat noodles for breakfast as well.
Something I found interesting for breakfast, like I liked orange juice for breakfast, like a glass of orange juice.
It's healthy too.
It's healthy. Well, here's the thing: is it healthy? Because okay, so orange juice, there's different ways you can buy them. You can buy the premium brand, so like Tropicana,
Yeah.
Oasis, Simple Orange, or you could buy like the frozen ones, like Minute Maid, and then you would add water to it.
Yeah.
And then there's like the less known orange juice, like Sunny D, that isn't really orange juice. It's like 5%.
Yeah.
Right? And so a lot of people would think that the premium ones are the healthiest because if you look at the ingredients, it just says orange juice and nothing added, right? No sugar, nothing added.
Well, Tropicana, under ingredients, all they say is oranges.
Oranges, yes.
Which I don't know if that's true.
See-
I had that question a long time
Right.
ago.
So the question is, when I squeeze my oranges fresh, how come it doesn't taste like Tropicana, right? And so when you go some digging, you find out that orange juice, especially from the premium brand like Tropicana, Simple Orange, or Oasis, what they do is they squeeze a bunch of orange, put in a huge vat, and then they heat it. So they're pasteurizing the orange, so it can suck out all the oxygen, so they can store it for months and years, right?
Yeah.
And so then when it's ready, they can ship. They just have to put it back in containers and ship it. But because of that process, a lot of the orange juice has lost its flavor. So they use what's called flavor packs to add back in the flavor.
So is that made from oranges? Because if not, then I question their ingredients.
Yeah, is that made from oranges?
The cheaper one. Well,
I don't
you
think
won't
they
get
are.
anything else better because the cheaper ones they don't actually even use oranges. It's
So-
to
But
Well,
then-
Sunny D,
drink.
yes, but I think Minute Maid is probably the same because Minute Maid is the same as Tropicana. All it is frozen. They take out the water. You just have to add it back in, right? But what I'm trying to say is Tropicana or these premium brands, there's something added to the orange juice. It's not just oranges.
But are they
don't.
legally required to list that out in the ingredients?
See, I think they lobby the food industry in a way that they don't need to add it because there was some digging that was done that they didn't say who created the added value ingredient or what's it called. Yeah, but they said that the company who creates perfume are the same company who creates these orange package, you could say, this flavor package. So what's in them, we have no idea. Because they don't, like Tropicana, they don't advertise what's in it. Because they want to have this illusion that it's healthy for you because it's just oranges. But it's not just oranges.
So is it actually healthy?
Yeah, I don't think they are. One is, I don't think it's any healthier than, say, Minute Maid.
Well,
But
the
you're
thing is,
paying like 4 times more, is what I'm saying.
I don't know. Maybe it is more healthy than Minute Maid because I don't know if it plays a role in it, but it's like from one carton or jug of Tropicana to another.
Yeah.
Sometimes it does taste different too, though.
Yeah, I mean, they have different oranges. Like, you could buy the Florida one or California one.
Yeah. So would it matter? Or does that influence how much of this process that they use?
It's
does it
just
sync
not.
up with that?
All it is just not freshly squeezed.
It's not
orange
freshly
juice.
squeezed, but there's something added.
still
What
have
I'm
all the
saying is,
vitamins. and
Yeah,
stuff,
I mean,
hopefully.
you're not taking that shit out. It's just you're adding.
I'm
shit
not
in.
angry if they're taking away my vitamins. What I'm kind of scared
I
about
kinda
is
would
what are
be.
they adding in my orange juice?
Because if
That's what I'm trying to
if
say.
the orange juice just isn't like oh my god,
Nutritious?
Yes, that's the. I couldn't get the. Okay, anyways, if it's not as good as like an actual orange, then what's the?
I don't think it is. I think it's like a pop. I think it's like a soft drink. It's not as bad as a soft drink, maybe, but I think
Hopefully
it's
it still
equivalent to.
has-
Well,
the
you can't. They can't
vitamins, like-
completely lie on the ingredients. So then, when it does show like, oh, this has so and so much
Wow.
vitamin C and stuff, it probably does have that. It has all the additives in it, or whatever that keeps it
see, that's
from
the thing.
spoiling as well. But it's not like it's just a completely new manufactured juice at the same time.
See, that's the thing. When you look at labels, they don't really tell you enough information. Because, like, for example, you look at a can of soup, right? And you read how many calories it. At first glance, you might read it and say it's an 80-calorie can of soup because it's fat or low in sodium, blah blah blah. It's trying to be like healthier, right?
Yeah.
But that calorie servings it's 80 calories per serving.
Yeah.
But when you look at the back, a full can is about 2 servings.
It will say per like
No,
Yeah,
but
they
that's
do
in the
say
fine
that.
print. So if you don't know that, you would think you're eating 80 calories, but in reality you're eating double.
A lot of them they'll say how much per serving.
Yeah, per serving. But people would assume
No, like
that
they'll
one
say
can.
the amount. Like it'll
Yeah.
say 100
It
milliliters.
says near that table.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
will say
so-
the volume that they're measuring it at.
So, but then that's the other thing. What does about to mean? Because it's not. They also use that word about to as a fudge
Ballpark,
number.
man. It's not. It's just not going to be like
But
maybe it's not.
why
Exactly
would it be
80.
a ballpark? Because the full can itself has a gram. Like there's an exact weight to it too. So it's not a ballpark. It's like it's a weird marketing number.
No. Well, soup. Are you gonna get exactly X amount of? Let's just say
You do because they
No,
have,
no,
like,
no,
they
no,
have
no.
a
Listen,
It's like if there's
listen,
carrots or
Fuck,
something,
listen,
you won't
if you
get
got
like
like
10 pieces of carrots.
Yeah, if you
on
got
all
like
of them.
minestrone soup, do they like buy? Do they, like separate like exactly 10 pieces of whatever the fuck? Like
meat and vegetables.
Yeah, right.
sure.
It's different. That's why it's a ballpark.
Right, sure. Even if it's different, but they still have an absolute number of weight, right? Like 200 grams, 300
Yeah,
grams.
but if
Yeah,
you
but
have like
just-
15 piece of carrots in one and 10 in the other.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, just having
sways
that
the
shit. It's not like
nutrition.
it's not like a uniform liquid, right? So just having
So-
those bits in it changes it.
Anyways, what I'm trying to say,
But like
is
I'm also saying like it's when they say it's about that, it's pretty much just about that.
no. Well, if you do the math, about to can mean anything from 1.5 to like 2.3.
But I mean, you can even wrap your head around just having different amounts of different foods in each can. How precise
But
can your math
when it says
be?
about to,
Right,
you
but
you wouldn't think you're getting 1.5.
Well, how precise
to.
do you even know what you're even getting? Because you're not even factoring just like, oh, fuck, the random pieces of the vegetables and shit that's different in each can.
Right.
So, I mean, like, what is your about to based on anyways? Like,
Well,
you get it down to like
I'm
1
saying
point.
is why do they use this type of language in soup cans?
Because each can isn't exactly the same as the other can.
The other thing is that
Plus, like, you gotta understand the majority of the population, they don't give a shit.
they don't read it. Yeah, they don't.
No, not even, they don't read it. They don't give a shit if it's not exactly 80 calories on the serving.
Some people do. Some
But
people
you do.
who count calories would like to know what.
Even the people that count calories, that's, you know what the difference is like
They'll just
between 80
read the
calories
label and be like, oh,
yeah,
that's 80.
1 calorie
But
or
that's
79
wrong, though.
calories off.
80 would be wrong. You have to double it because no one eats half a can of soup.
They
No,
could.
but it's
could.
fine.
Even
It
so,
says
it's
it's on the soup. It'll say what 1 serving is.
But it's
Yes,
not like
it'll say 1 serving is. But
people
most,
won't like actually do the science and be like, oh, this was actually 81. So
Yeah.
what the hell? Lawsuit.
No,
Yeah,
no, but,
exactly.
but what I'm trying to say is when you eat soup, most people will open a soup and fill their bowl with the full can of soup, right?
Right, but
And
if
you will
you're
eat it.
counting calories,
Yeah.
you're going to be more. You will read how much serving is in one
you're
serving.
serious
But
about it.
you can't
The
just
people
read,
that don't care about it, of course, they're not going to care about the calorie count anyways.
But you would have to read plus do arithmetic, which is multiplying.
Well,
by
it
two.
doesn't
That's
even
fine.
matter.
Like it's not like they exclude that information from the can itself.
Yeah, it's
No, they
there.
don't exclude it.
It's there.
Yeah, sure, it's there. It's there in the fine print kind of thing. But you would have to know to look for it to know that's how it's.
Well, if you're reading the thing and that matters enough to you, then yeah, look for it.
I mean,
then.
that's pretty much how. That's very simplified already. It's like 1 serving, 100 milliliters, X amount of calories. That's it. So if the soup can's like 284 milliliters, you'd be like, oh, okay, that's it. You do the math or whatever.
Sure, but then like when you look at the front of the soup, it shows you the number of calories. That's
Yeah.
just all marketing. That's not even what the calorie is. of
No,
the
no.
soup.
Well,
It's
everybody.
half of it.
If you're
maybe.
counting calories, you'll see everybody go towards the ingredients, the calorie.
Yeah, you
list.
have to turn it to the back
Yeah.
and read
So
the fine
so
print.
that's the people. The point is, the people that really care about that stuff, they're gonna read it. They understand it. The people that don't care about that stuff, they don't care about it anyways. So
and
they're
if
just
it's
gonna
like,
eat one
oh,
can
low
of soup.
sodium, people aren't going to just compare it to itself. They're going to compare it to other products that are similar.
Low sodium
and
was
then compare it.
another issue because generally low sodium has just like almost the max amount of sodium you need for a day. Like even low sodium isn't very low. It's low compared to
Yeah,
other soups.
food. All
it's-
food has too much sodium.
Yeah, especially
Everything's in comparison to something else from another brand.
I feel like
essentially.
the more convenient a food is, it's probably very unhealthy. Like it probably has too much salt.
Oh yeah,
Or
like fast
it's-
food is the most convenient.
Yeah.
and it's the most unhealthy.
Yeah, our food here has too
Arguably.
too much GMO shit in it, anyways. So
I don't know. It's not GMO. Salt, sugar, and fat. That's the issue.
Okay, but aside from that, all the food, like, you're worried about all the weird shit that they would put in your orange juice.
Yeah.
GMO is the fucking real thing.
But
you don't care about GMO, but you care about all the random
Okay, well, the
X
reason-
amount of stuff that you're putting in there.
Do you count calories?
The reason I don't care about GMO, I'll get to it. The reason I don't care about GMO is we need it because we have this huge growing population and we need the ability to grow food efficiently. And GMO is used to it.
Well, yeah, of course, but you know, like, there's a lot of countries that they are much more stringent on what goes into their food, even if it's genetically modified. Or a lot of countries, they will strictly not have GMO foods. Like it may surprise you, but like a country like China, they are very strict on not having the same
But
amount of GMO foods in there.
Because like when you think of because selective breeding is also GMO, right? Because you're modifying what breed of say tomatoes that we grow.
Well, the GMO it
plays a
matters to an
role.
extent. Like cause yeah, the food that you get, all of it has been more or less bred, especially with grains, and especially in the 70s. I think Nathan Borlaug or whoever that guy was, specifically bred crops that increased everything by like massive amounts of food yield, right? But the GMO that everybody's worried about right now is not like, it's not that. They're not thinking that is like That's more, if you think about it, that's more of a natural, breeding selection technique. They're thinking about like all the shit, the chemicals, antibiotics, and all that shit going
Pesticides and
into.
stuff.
Yeah, that is actually just that is like genetically modifying it. That's actually just modifying it.
Yeah. Well, with the pesticide, it's because like
That's what they mean by GMO. They're not saying like, oh, fucking, because the banana you eat right now is different from the banana that was first introduced.
yeah, because
all
that
those
one
years
got wiped
back,
out.
right?
Yes.
Because that banana is almost
Because the
unedible
current banana
too.
that we have is the Caverbresh.
Whatever, I don't. But you get what I mean, right? The current banana you have right now is completely different from the original banana that was introduced.
Yeah,
as like a
because
banana
they're all
crop.
clones. All bananas are clones of each other.
Well, it was bred to be whatever this banana is now, right? It's less chalky. It's actually there's more.
tastes
Yeah,
good.
it's more taste in it. There's more sugar content.
Well, the candy that represents banana, that's the representation of the old banana.
It's
That's
gross.
what the old
Yeah,
banana tastes like.
it's different bananas, tomatoes, everything that you can think of is different. But that's not like GMO foods. Like GMO foods, like I said.
That's not what people would. I guess when they're afraid of GMOs, that's not what they're afraid of. Yes.
Yes, and but also on the official level, like that's what countries are making this distinction too. Like they treat GMO foods, the ones that are modified with like antibiotics or growth hormones or whatever. Those are the ones they are saying these are GMO foods and they need to be watched, right?
Yeah.
So that's what the distinction is.
To go back to your question, Jason, I don't count calories because I'm getting fat.
Okay.
But in terms of like when we think of fine print on like cans of soups, right? You know when someone like gives you a contract and say, "Oh, you should read this contract and have it signed and give it back to me." I wonder if that's a rhetorical question because generally contracts are written with legal terms and stuff, and like legal documents aren't written to be read like a novel. Like they don't have punctuation, all right? Like
The
legal
wording is very precise.
and the wording is very precise, and the words they use, even though I could read them, I don't know if they have the same meaning in the same context that I think of it as, right? So I just wondered like, what does it like? What are we really signing for? And in legalness or what do you call it? Legality. Why do they double their words? Like for example, term and condition aren't they mean the same thing?
Fuck, man.
Right?
I think
Cease and
it's
desist.
part
You're
of
going
how they
into
have
a
to be
rabbit hole.
so precise. So it's like you can't. There's no vague wording. And
You know what
can
it
only
is?
be
I think terms and
interpreted
conditions.
one way.
I think they consider them different.
They do? Okay. Because like
Terms
a lot
and
of them,
conditions,
a lot of these lawyer words, they seem like redundant, like cease and desist.
The
also
thing is,
seem
most of it,
redundant.
they do it on purpose, and because purposely they may mean different things.
Yeah. So I feel like it's just
Yeah, the common layman is ill-equipped to understand a lot of these documents.
and it's strange because legal documents. I feel like it's important for people to understand because you're
yeah.
signing them,
Yeah.
Plays a
but
role
then
in,
you
like,
don't
every major
understand
thing.
them, and
well,
it's just so
if
scary.
it affects your life more, that's when you're supposed to get legal. You should get legal counsel to go with it. So if you're getting like a divorce or some shit, that's when you need like a divorce lawyer to look
And
through that
that's
shit.
how all these lawyers are making big
Yeah.
money.
But if you're buying like an iPhone 11, you don't need to bring a lawyer to read the terms and
Or like
conditions.
if you're buying something off iTunes.
Yeah.
And you're just like accept.
right? Because
Except-
that won't affect you as much as I guess fucking divorce.
Well, no one
settlements.
really reads it, but yeah, divorce is interesting because I watched this movie called Marriage Story
Yeah.
with
Kylo Ren.
Kylo Ren and Black Widow. It's pretty good.
I wish they just had their actual personas playing in that movie. Black Widow and Kylo Ren.
Actually, I really Adam Driver, who plays Kylo Ren, and the
Scarlett Johansson.
ScarJo.
Scarlett Joe, right?
Scarlet Joe.
But
That's what he calls her.
Adam Driver, he's pretty good actor. Like I really enjoyed him in Marriage Story.
Yeah, it's just in Star Wars they give him dog shit.
Yeah,
lines.
he was terrible. But anyways, what choked me in Marriage Story because they go through like a divorce, right? And they go through counseling.
Yeah.
Is that and they have a kid and he lost half the custody and he also had to pay 30% of his ex-spouse's attorney. I thought that was like, what? That's ridiculous. And the other thing I didn't know that. Okay, so for her, she went to she found a lawyer because originally they agreed that they would do it amicably and not involve lawyers. But then her friend gave her a lawyer and she talked in. So she saw a lawyer and then she saw other lawyers. And so when the husband had to get his lawyer, he couldn't go to any lawyers that she had already seen.
She played them.
And that's crazy. Like it's almost like if you're getting a divorce, you gotta act fast. Because if you see a lawyer, if your ex-wife or ex-husband sees a lawyer before you can't see that same lawyer, even if they didn't hire that lawyer. So there's almost like a game when you're getting divorced. Like there's all these little hidden rules.
Yeah, it's almost like you shouldn't aim to get a divorce.
Well, people don't aim to get divorced, but it happens.
Yeah,
Statistically speaking, it happens. So one is people also don't read their contract when they get married, because that's one of the few legal contracts people sign without reading.
Yeah, court
right?
Documents.
I don't think there are terms and conditions that
It's
you
just
usually
marriage
see
license. and
Yeah,
stuff.
you don't.
No, there are terms and conditions. Like you go from a title system to a different.
No, I mean like when
system,
you
right?
sign the forms.
Right.
There's nothing in there that says that stuff.
Oh, it doesn't tell you.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, so there's even worse. It's like those hidden orange juice labels.
Yeah. There's nothing like, cause when you get divorced, it depends on what kind of divorce, how it gets divorced. It might not just be. It's not like the same, like quote unquote terms and conditions.
Oh, I
each
don't
time.
think the divorce terms would be on like a marriage.
No, it
or
wouldn't. Like
not marriage
when you sign the marriage. Okay, you know what they
license.
ask for when you sign the marriage forms? It's basically like an old way of proving you two are not related. That's basically it. So it's
Is
asking.
it the blood where you poke the needle?
No. It just asks.
Water.
Sign with your blood.
It asks. Well, it also obviously asks your names, but
Yeah.
it also asks about your parents' names and where they were born. So
Oh, I
it's like
see.
the really old way of trying to just figure out like you're not like fucking
So they
relatives.
Not a very
they
good
don't
way
want
to
the
do that
Jamie,
anyways.
Yeah.
Jamie and
There's
Cersei
no
Lannister.
terms and there's not even like an Apple fucking terms and conditions.
Like you don't
on
even
it.
check a box.
No, there's no terms and conditions on it.
Okay.
It's made before that shit became a thing, right?
But like when you do sign a marriage license, you are getting involved in a huge legal contract.
It's yes, in a way it's a contract, but but more importantly, overall the picture is just this is how society deals with something like this, right? Like you never sign a terms and conditions contract not to kill anybody, but you can't kill anybody. You kill someone, you go to jail, right? There's no terms and conditions you gotta read about, like fucking when you just get born that. Please sign here. So acknowledging that what would happen to you if you ever commit a crime or you get murdered.
You
or
kill someone, and cops go after. He's like, but I never agreed not to.
Exactly, right? So marriage is like that. Like, there's no terms and conditions and shit that tells you is like, oh, you better agree to this or whatever. There are services and options that you can get, like a prenup, to preempt that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of when it was like.
preempt.
But
The thing with marriage is like there's a lot of other agreements that you
yes.
sign, like bank accounts and like when you get a mortgage on a place,
'Cause
for example.
when you get married, it doesn't mean you have to join your bank accounts. You don't have to do any of that.
But when you do get divorced,
Yeah.
things are looked at cutting even, and when you have kids, it makes things
but
very
they do that in a way where it's like, oh, what legally looks like it's fair for both parties going through a separation, right? So that's they make those kind of decisions, and they first ask for the both, like the guy and the couple to try to settle this amicably or whatever. They like if they can decide amongst themselves, that's the best. But
That
if
would
they
be the
can't
best.
decide, and it's like the authority or whatever has to decide, then that's when they have to do like just a cold cut.
Because when I watched this TV show or this movie, what it taught me is that once you get lawyers involved, the winners are not the clients; it's the lawyers.
Well,
Because
lawyers are
shit.
always the winners of everything.
they're the winners of everything. Because like the longer things drag and the more you just argue,
The more they get
and
paid.
The more they get paid, because then they have to like find all these facts, read through your emails, and they're dragging your ex through the mud, right? They would find things that try to make them look bad and paint them into a bad character. It almost seems like, why would I even marry this person at this point?
Imagine if it was all a conspiracy from divorce lawyers that they're like back in the 50s or whatever in Canada and the United States. It's like, we need to bring more business into here. I want you to start running ads and making movies where divorce.
50% of marriages end in divorce. Get a lawyer.
And then you get some guy trying to sleuth, like, where did they get this statistic? Goes into deep state shit.
And then more
one
people
day-
get divorced because they think it's more acceptable.
One day, the guy gets into his car, and then there's already a guy in the back seat. It's like, you're digging too far into this divorce ratio. You should stop while it's still healthy for you.
You get a mysterious note, follow the rich white man or something. Like,
Boom! It's a fucking Moneyball conspiracy.
I could see that. Yeah, like the stats came out before it actually happened. Like,
Yeah,
they
it's manufactured stats.
created the 50%. It was
like-
a self-fulfilling prophecy.
it's like the whole Coke making Santa or something like that.
Yeah. Anyways, overall, the movie was really good. It was a comedy, I feel. Really.
Was it comedy?
It was very funny. Yeah.
I'm thinking
Really
of watching
depressing, but very
Yeah,
funny.
it
I was
sounds
thinking
like
of
it works
watching it,
out.
but I kind of want to avoid spoilers. But I feel like this is a movie that I kind of want to know what happens in the end. In the end, they stay divorced.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't.
And
think-
is it like a bittersweet ending, or is it?
It's just an ending,
It's just an ending. Yeah. Okay. Whatever.
but it was a good ending.
yeah.
Like
Okay.
The director of Parasite said that's probably his favorite movie of 2019.
Marriage Story,
Yeah.
not his own.
Well,
Not
the-
his
this was based on a Reddit AMA,
Yeah.
and the person that posted the question said in parentheses, with the exception of
Oh,
Parasite,
Bong
so-
Ji-hoon. Yeah, he probably picked his own if that
Oh,
condition
no.
wasn't there.
Who would pick their own movie as their favorite movie?
Yeah, I guess it wouldn't make you look
That's-
that.
Yeah, that's not a
good
good
person.
publicity.
But you watched Parasite
Yes.
in theaters?
Unknowingly, no.
Oh, I see.
I watched it.
You didn't support it.
I didn't know what it was about. I went in with zero.
You look at the
idea
trailer.
of what
I looked
it
at the
was.
trailer and I'm like,
I looked at the poster.
and I thought it was sci-fi.
I thought it was a zombie movie or something.
Like you had the word parasite, like the poster had like the black bars across their eyes,
yeah.
right? And you're like, oh,
Then there's like one like laying in the
And, like,
ground,
in
and they're
the-
like spaced out weird. So
yeah.
I'm like,
And in the trailer, they open this package and they're all like
wait, has
surprised,
Sinzan seen it?
I'll just talk about it.
No, I was just wondering.
and they were
Yeah.
surprised, and I'm like, oh, and the word parasite, so I think of aliens, da da da.
yeah.
And then when you watch and finish the movie, you realize, oh, parasite is a very fitting
you
word.
find that out before the end of the movie.
Okay,
but,
yeah,
yeah.
but it
yeah,
is
I
a
know
very
what you mean.
fitting word for the
It
movie.
is.
It's like it describes the movie 100%.
Like-
It's just not sci-fi.
Well,
Might as well just go. Just go with the spoilers. What is this movie about?
okay,
Okay.
so I'll just expand on his parasite term of that. It's like when you go into the movie, partway through, you're like, oh, okay, I can see why it's called Parasite.
Yeah.
Like initially, I had no idea. I thought it was a zombie movie or something, like the weird worm virus.
Yeah.
like, or whatever. But
Or even Parasite the anime.
So going further, you're like, oh, okay, I see. It's like they're the parasites. But then it's like even further in the movie, you're like, oh, there's like another.
There's more parasites.
Yeah.
there's another. Parasite.
So you've seen Snowpiercer. So Snowpiercer
Yes.
is a social commentary about the rich and the poor.
Oh man,
Left
I
to
just wanna-
right.
Same director.
I just want to say first, if it turns out to be like some critique of capitalism, I will get so hard.
Is
I
it
don't
kind of, but not really capitalist. But it's also another social
It's
commentary.
a social thing, like the rich
It's a-
families.
It's a
social
rich and
factors,
family,
yeah.
but rather than going left to right, they go top to bottom. The rich lives on the top,
Almost
and the
literally.
bottom, and the bottom lives the poor.
Uh-huh.
And this family is so poor they live semi-basement, like only half their house is above the basement,
Yeah.
Less,
ground floor.
Like you see in their place, it's like there's a window. They're basically like in your basement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's-
But it's half.
Say that window, like half of it would be underground.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's they're so poor that they had a bug issue at their home.
Yeah.
And then outside the public or social workers were fumigating the streets, and they just left their windows open just to get free fumigation.
Yeah.
That's how poor they're so poor that they were folding pizza boxes to earn money.
They're so poor that they had to buy used food.
Your family's so poor. Your window can only see half.
They're so poor they were stealing Wi-Fi from other businesses around them. Like they just log into free Wi-Fi's. The one
I wonder
thing
how many are just so poor jokes you can tell before you turn
That part
one.
wasn't even a joke. though.
Before you
That's
turn
what
one
they
into
did.
a revolutionary.
the one thing I thought was really funny was even though half their house is underground, their toilet was raised up, so you have to like climb
Yeah, that was
up.
weird.
You have to climb up to do the toilet.
Why is that though?
I don't know. And okay, there's a scene where
fuck with the
their whole house was flooding,
yeah.
and the sister, the sister, she climbs up to the toilet, and there's backwater coming out of the toilet. She sits in it to stop the backwater just to smoke, and I was confused.
I think it's just because like, well, everything's messed up. I'm just gonna freaking smoke.
This is Korean mindset.
Okay, all right. So, anyways,
It's like, what else can you do? All your possessions are destroyed. It's like you can't
Yeah.
do anything to stop it.
So the story goes is, you start with this poor family. This kid, the kid in the movie, his best friend came to him, talked to him, say, "Hey, I got a gig for you. Tutor this girl. She's rich." And so he goes up to the top level to this nice house and tutors her.
It should be noted that he has to scam his way into that position now.
He also
so he doesn't have the credentials to know.
He doesn't have the credentials now, but
his sister is like a graphic designer or good at it.
yeah,
at least.
they forged some
forged
documents.
All right.
So he got the job, and then the mom was saying, "Oh, I kind of want to hire like an artist to teach my son to do drawings and something." And then he got this idea to get his sister to pretend to be this artist.
Okay.
And then eventually they got the whole family working under this rich family.
Okay, so they hired his whole family.
So they
unknowing that they're all family members.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, the rich family didn't know. They were all like, "Oh, I know this friend."
Yeah,
kind of thing.
For them,
this
it's
uncle.
like their high class stuff. It's like we only hire people based on like recommendations from other people they know. So that's why they're continuously recommending their own family members without saying like, "Oh yeah, they're known for their work. I don't know them outside of that."
Yeah, it's all a lie conspiracy. And then you find, and they got other people fired so they could fill in the position. So they fired the housekeeper so the mom could get in. They fired the driver so the dad get in. Right. And then this is partway through the movie. You get to the halfway point, and then the rich family, they go on a camping vacation. And so the poor family, they're at the rich house. And
wait, before you go
partying.
Into that. So right now, it's like when you expect, like, oh, the term parasite means the family. They're parasites in the rich family. Yeah.
And there's another layer that you dig down deep.
So like the poor family's living off the rich family. So that's how they're a parasite, right?
Yeah.
And then you find out that the housekeeper that they kicked out, she had a husband that lives in the bunker of the rich house. So she came back to like feed her husband because he's been trapped. Because like she's been taking care of him.
Where is her husband located?
It's hidden behind like a bookcase thing that the family that moved in there didn't know about.
Yeah, the rich family didn't know about this. So she was another parasite family that had been there before the main one that you follow.
Oh shit! Okay.
Like, so you find out like, oh, there's more than one family that's been doing this.
Yeah.
Right, and so then the parasites fight each other. The two families starts fighting with each other because they didn't want the rich family to find out, and I guess they also feel like there's not enough room for both of them, kind of thing. And then that's stuff like that, and then a bunch of stuff. Like I feel like the movie
escalates quickly.
It escalates quickly because the movie felt like a comedy for a lot of it.
Yeah,
and then it gets to the last 30 minutes or 10 minutes,
and just people just die.
Yeah, people are dying. There's gore, and it's just like. It's less funny.
Pretty brutal.
It's less funny, and it's more drama heavy.
Well, what? Okay, so in the end, what was the like when you go deeper into it? Who else was like parasites or?
Well, it's just those two families.
Okay, so
it's just mostly those two families that were parasites. But like it's a lot of social commentary on the rich and poor. Like one is the imagery of the rich living on the top, right? Because there's the idea of like. We talk about this. There's a rainstorm that was like it was just raining, and the rich people were like, "Oh, it's so nice, the rain. It looks so beautiful with the thunder." But then when the poor family went back home during the rain shower, their whole house was flooded. Like they're not just their house, but their whole community was flooding. Right. So it's like different perspective of the same event. That this thunderstorm is like beautiful for the rich, but for the poor is like. It's like devastating.
Destroying their lives.
Yeah, like, and it was crazy in the sense of filming because they created that set. Like, they created the whole community because they couldn't flood a town just for a movie.
Not entirely true. That was a community.
No, they created a lot of those houses.
People lived there. The director was saying how they were like going around and apologizing, giving gifts because they had to.
Oh, did they actually flood there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. How about that house they filmed? I think
the flooding was mostly just for that house. The rest of it maybe more CG or something. I don't know the exact way they filmed that.
I thought they created the whole community just so they could flood.
He was saying I think they might have been the AMA, or I also watched some interviews. He was on like talk shows, but he was saying how he was like, or they were going around the neighborhood apologizing to people in advance, like, oh, we're going to be filming here, there's going to be like a lot of water that they have to bring onto set for like flooding and stuff, so they're giving gifts to people too.
Oh, okay, it was a good shot. Like you could see the devastation in the flood. Like people's homes were yeah, they're flooding. So it was crazy. And then, like this, so the poor family, after they got all their stuff out of their house and they're all wet, they went to the gym and that's where they slept with a bunch of the family. And then they get called by the rich family saying like, oh, we need you to work on the weekends over overtime because we want to celebrate this new like rain shower or something.
I thought it was a kid's birthday.
Yeah, it's also a kid's birthday. And then
the rain shower is cool.
they go and work,
that.
and then there's cake and then murder, stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, it was good. Like things that I thought was interesting. Oh, the one standout quote I liked was the dad. Like this is when the poor family was living in the rich house, and they're just getting drunk and having fun because the rich family has left. And the dad was saying, oh, this rich family, they're really nice people, and then the mom or the wife, she was like, they're only nice because they can afford to be nice.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting. That because when you are poor, it feels like the only way you can get out of being poor is by like cheating and kind of stealing in a sense, right? Like fighting with others and trying to get out that
It's conflict.
race.
There's much more conflict.
Yeah. So, but when you're rich, I guess, you can afford to be nice. You can give donations and be nice to people. I guess.
Well, they weren't exactly that good of people either, though.
They
like
weren't
the rich people.
They weren't that good. Yeah.
There's a whole bit. It's like the father is driving the father of the rich people, and he was asking like, "Oh, do you love your wife or whatever?" And he was like hesitating. He's like, "Yeah, I guess," or whatever he said.
It almost seemed to him as like, that's a dumb question.
I don't know. I think it was more so like kind of like settled because even the wife, when you first see her, she's like at the kitchen table and she just like seems not normal.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she almost seemed like she was drunk.
Yeah, she was like head down on the table or something like that. So it's like doesn't seem like they're really happy or anything.
In the way the movie portrayed, I felt like they did. They were they didn't exaggerate. Like how like generally rich people are like evil villains.
Yeah, it's not.
And then
to
the
that
poor
extent.
people tend to be like morons, kind of like hillbillies. In this sense, they portrayed the poor people as a very smart family. Like they were very
They're
capable.
good con men.
Yeah, they were very good con people. Like they're very capable, and they were just down. They just they were struggling. And then the rich family,
they did their jobs too. They were like actually good at what they were supposed to do.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. The two kids, the sister and the brother, I don't know if they did their job well.
Well, you can't really tell.
Can't really tell because the guy was very unprofessional because he was macking on.
Well, yeah.
So like, I don't know if that's a good job, right?
Who wouldn't?
Yeah.
I checked. The girl is the actress of the daughter was 20.
Okay, first of all, he was waiting for her to graduate high school before he would ask her.
Yeah, but
out.
I'm just saying the actual actress was over 18.
He needs to make sure that's legal before he starts fapping.
Yeah, and then the other thing I thought was interesting is that, like, how the two parasite families are fighting each other. It's kind of like the poor is always fighting with the poor, not with the rich.
Yeah, I mean that was the whole premise in having welfare systems too, because the argument would be you see crime in the most crime-ridden neighborhood. What they wanted to do was hit at the poverty because they believe that it's the poverty, is that scarcity that makes people struggle and to steal, to say, like, fuck it, like, why do I need to follow the law or whatever, and just have this mindset, this jungle survivor mindset. So that's the whole basis of people that do want welfare programs to try to target the poor. They see it as like a crime, not only crime alleviation, but just poverty in general. If you address that, then they're assuming people in general in these neighborhoods would be nicer. That's the whole deal with the fucking like black community in the USA, anyways. But that like aside from all the racism and shit that made it into what it is, originally like the whole Democrat thing, especially under Clinton and before, was basically, we need to pour more money in these black neighborhoods. That will stop the crime, right? And then that was like the thinking behind that. And then later you got people that were resenting that and calling people welfare queens. But there's one observation I kind of I made a while back, and it was over a long period of years. I noticed that like a long time ago, like in China when I was a kid, people like relatives will always tell me, oh, you know, you have to watch wherever you go, you have to watch your wallet or whatever, right? Like you gotta watch for pickpockets, you gotta watch for people that'll con you, that'll scam you. It generally like the general advice for me from my aunt or uncle was like, oh, when you go out to these places, yeah, I fucking don't. You know, like be skeptical of anybody that talks to you or offers you shit.
Stranger danger.
Yeah, right. And I guess in the last year or two, recently, they like the social media over there, they do the same thing as YouTube does, whereas like, you know, like they'll have a channel where like, oh, I'm gonna drop my wallet on the street and I'm gonna film it and see who picks it up and like returns it.
Stuff.
Not really. Yeah, there's prank stuff, but there's also like social experiment stuff on video, right?
I see.
So there's recent ones where, you know, like you see that all the time on YouTube, and then in China they also have that for their video sites where, you know, like they set up like a guy that's like poor or whatever on the street, and they try to see how many people would come and fucking like either donate money or take him out or whatever. And what they did, one video was just one of those generic ones where they have really like a destitute poor beggar, I guess, sitting outside a restaurant, and they have him just eating this really like dirty looking piece of bread or some shit, right? And the experiment was to see like if anybody would come, and since he's sitting right outside the restaurant, like who would come and take pity or whatever, right? And then the restaurant people took pity on him. And he's like, oh, did you want to come in to just have a meal or whatever? It's on us. And then there was other people that said, look, let's go ahead and I'll buy you something, right? And then I was thinking like, this is like complete 180 from when I was a kid, and then the country in general is a lot poorer, and you had more people that are coming out to scam you, that would take advantage of you, and that would like if you drop your wallet, it's the same videos that you have in China where people will return it to you, maybe. But when I was a kid, that was the exact opposite advice. Like they'll just take the wallet right from you, right?
Yeah. So and that's kind of
it's undeniable that when people's like material needs are more fulfilled, generally it brings out the more compassion in people, right? If you're not worried about like fucking feeding yourself or how you're gonna fucking live.
Yeah,
you're gonna be less brutal. You're gonna be more like altruistic. You're gonna be more compassionate to, I guess, someone else that you see around the world. But the curious thing I always thought about it was in America, that shit fucking failed. And in America, like in China, no one calls someone else a welfare queen, right? In America, you have a significant amount of people that look at just this failure of trying to alleviate poverty in these poor places. And then they just say, you know what, that's fucking my tax money that just goes to fucking like a welfare queen, and they just take it and they spend it on fucking drugs and shit and blah,
yeah,
blah,
they totally don't understand that, like the idea of the system.
Well, but it's for them. It's system like failed so catastrophically that they feel like that. Like the people that I guess gave money, the well-off people, they probably felt like fucking they got gypped off or whatever, right? And it's not. I have no idea like how it could. Well, I have sort of some ideas, but it's just funny to me. Like, it's also strange that like that's the reaction that you get over there. It's not a normal reaction.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
No, I think just this is a generalization kind of.
It is, of course. This is what I suppose. Also,
there's definitely gonna be good people and bad people. So like wherever you go. So
yeah. And definitely that's the thing too, like, people kind of they like to go on extremes nowadays, even just adult fucking people that aren't children, they'll be like, it's either everybody's bad or everybody's good. Like,
it's more simpler to think that way, right?
Right?
But then there's like people like me, I'm just like living in a gray area.
Like,
well, realistically, like, it's like, how hard is it to comprehend that there are people that are pieces of shit, and there are people that are really good people? Like, how hard is it to comprehend that, right? Why does it have to be so binary?
Yeah, people just don't like nuance, you know.
They don't.
Only the Sith deals in absolute.
Only the Sith. Yo, and Star Wars, it was funny because this is what I read this one post where one guy tried to just play contrarian And they're like, you know what? If you really think about it, Obi-Wan Kenobi is a piece of shit.
Okay.
And then he gives reasons. And then if you think about it, you're like, wow, yeah, if you're looking at it from the perspective of, like, the Sith, yeah, Obi-Wan's kind of a piece of shit. Like, from Anakin, like...
That's... Yeah, well,
He's like, it's all, think about it. It's like, he takes this kid, you know, like, him and Qui-Gon Jinn, take this kid away from his mom, right? Saying that, you know, you have to join our order because, by our metrics... You seem really gifted, so we're gonna take you from your family. We're gonna leave your mom to, you know, fucking face her fate with the fucking Hutts, but we're gonna take you because you're valuable. We're gonna take you, we're gonna train you up, but the whole time you can't give in to any of your human emotions. You know, like don't just be a robot. And also, like relationships, forget that. Yeah, that woman that you love, fuck that. You can never ever be with her. You just have to be this mindless
that
robot.
He loved, like, couple years older than
yes,
him.
mindless robot. Yeah, no.
That
Yeah,
always confused me too. But.
yeah, she is older than him. It's like
By a lot.
It's not like fucking Epstein age, right?
I guess maybe around 10 years.
You got probably 5 years different. Probably 5 years different.
When he became a hunk, she still looked the same.
I'd say more than 5 years.
Okay,
She's
even
like,
if it was more, it's not the worst that you've seen. You know, like those
Right.
Barstool
Yeah.
videos where like 30-year-old is dating someone that's the same age as her dad.
Sorry. Okay, go ahead.
But anyways, it's like okay, you got to be this fucking just this robotic, non-human monk or whatever. You can't pursue anything except by what the Jedi rules say, and you know we are basically the galaxy's like the elite paramilitary group that goes around imposing our wills, and you have to be that. You have to be our like foot soldier, right? So if you're looking from Anakin's perspective, you know he just kind of wants love. B wanted to go back and check on his mother, which was prohibited by the Jedi.
Yeah.
He can't have emotion or connection anymore, right? He wants to go back and check on his mom that he hasn't seen ever since he started since he was a kid,
yeah,
to check up on her.
Got drafted.
right? And then obviously his mom got killed. You expect anybody, much less than like a kid that never experienced a full childhood and presumably is not emotionally mature enough to be, to see his mom die. Of course he gets angry, whatever. He can't also, he needs to keep that down, and he can't tell the woman the last woman that exists for him now that his mom's gone, that, oh, I can't love you and whatnot. Fucking drives him nuts. And what happens in the end? When they find out that he's with her, and, well, albeit he killed a bunch of kids, they send Obi-Wan Kenobi, his own home master, his father figure in his life, to kill him. And Obi-Wan Kenobi cuts off his legs, leaves him there, and he's like, fuck you.
Well, you did have the higher ground. He did warn Anakin.
Yeah, well, all he says is like, I loved you like a brother. Leaves him burning there.
I also thought it was funny.
Like, and then they'll be like, it's like, who wouldn't turn into Vader at that point?
Well, my question is, if he's having so many problems with like the Jedi Order, why not just leave then?
Well, this is where I think it becomes like the Jedi version of Too Big to Fail. Like, Anakin was this kid that was so ridiculously powerful that they kind of broke a lot of conventions just to get him there. And once he was on the path to being a Jedi, it's like, well, fuck it. Like, we can't like kick him out. He's probably one of the strong. He's like the strongest that we're ever gonna get. He's supposed to be bring
Like
balance to the
prophecy
Force.
child,
But isn't
Yeah, so then he's like he has to succeed. If he's like the banks during the 2008 financial crisis, we have to bail him out.
Yeah.
But it's like, if he wants to leave, can you do anything to prevent him from that?
I don't know. Like,
Yeah, I
and
don't know
They
the
were probably
rules,
trying to
so-
influence him.
And I honestly think they're cold enough that if he was gonna leave, they might worry that he's gonna be like rogue, and then
But the thing is,
they
they
might
kill him.
would've
They might
got him.
have to eliminate him.
One thing he wanted was like they wouldn't grant him the title of like Jedi Master. So it's like, why didn't you give it to them if you're trying to appease them? Then?
But you also know that the Jedi Council, all they do is talk and do.
They're bureaucratic.
They never do
By
anything.
nature, they're very bureaucratic.
Yeah,
And
they
when
never
it
get anything
came,
done.
when it came time to fight like an actual Sith, they just got creamed. Except Mace Windu, like those other three guys, just got completely wiped out.
Yeah,
the first
they've been
fight.
like, man, my whole career has just been in meetings. I never fought my whole life.
Yeah, just taking meetings, like scheduling shit on your calendar.
Well, I think in the shows they did more. They actually like went out and did stuff.
Yeah, and then that one final scene, just Palpatine just runs through like 3 of them right off the bat.
Yeah, there's a lot of confusing things about. Like, I'm sure if you go deep enough into the Star Wars lore,
I
there's
feel
probably
like-
more answers. But
But that's the thing with Star Wars is everything keeps getting retcon or like redacted, right? Like as you learn some stuff, other stuff changes as the new
their
stuff
main
comes out.
like books
They
got
killed the entire expanded
retconned.
universe, right?
Yeah, they killed that cartoon one.
because I think at one point it was like supposed to be like Luke is supposed to be the strongest there ever was.
Yeah, because
and now that's, like,
he's
retconned.
supposedly fulfills the prophecy.
Yeah.
And then there was like a whole other alien race that was from another galaxy that came and just fucked shit up. And then Disney got it. It's like, oh my god, look at this clusterfuck. Yeah, let's just get rid of all of it.
And now their movies aren't even that great either.
No, they're not. We'll see. We'll see. There's one more, right?
Yeah.
Just one more.
Coming out
How
soon.
amazing can
Yeah,
it be?
like I heard, is it McDonald's or something that have these cups that have LED lights or the lightsabers?
I have not heard of this.
Oh, okay.
I would be interested, but probably won't get any. But yeah, when you were actually saying about Anakin, I remember a terrible line in the third movie. It's like, I think he says something along the lines of like, well, from my perspective, the Jedi are evil. That might be like the almost exact quote, but it's like
It's done in such a shitty way.
It's like in my perspective, like, yeah, if you do that, it's like in a Nazi's perspective, yeah, they're the good guys.
Can you imagine if they got like just a competent fucking writer and a director to do the movie and do the whole story of it? They could have made it into something like just completely just like a mind blowing like trilogy where it's like it makes you doubt everything about what the Jedis
Well,
were.
have you heard
and
that
everything.
rumor that for the episodes 1, 2, and 3, it was supposed to be Jar Jar Binks was supposed to be like a Sith Lord or something.
Yeah,
like
well,
that.
that's the
Have you heard
fucking
that?
meme. Like he was the mastermind out of it.
Yeah, but there's like I remember just watching a YouTube video of like them showing evidence.
I hate it. I hate it when they go deep diving into
yeah,
that.
I don't know. I'm like,
It's a rabbit
really?
hole.
That doesn't seem.
It's a rabbit hole. They're just trying
They're grasping straws.
Can't you just go along the lines of they just did a bad job?
Yeah. No. See that.
They
go
won't give
into a
credit
rabbit
to the
hole,
writers, right? They want to say like, what if it was all on purpose?
Well, like if they changed it, then why do you think like they changed the whole story of the whole trilogy of like using Jar Jar Binks as like the main bad guy? Why would they still put in those scenes in the movies, like in the background?
I felt
or
like he
whatever?
was more important because there was a lot of screen time with him.
and then it's just nothing anymore. So obviously it wasn't.
Yeah,
Like,
he became
but it's like
nothing,
the butterfly effect. Because you imagine, it's like, what if the trilogies were just so mind-blowingly good?
Yeah.
Like, can you think?
If that rumor was actually true and it was like incredible, like the trilogy to build up the stupid, goofy character as like an actual evil mastermind, that would have been like revolutionary in the movie industry.
I think that would be kind of retarded. I'm like, what? Jar Jar thinks? I would be like, this is amazing.
Well,
At
it's
the same
like,
time, this is so
it's
ridiculous.
like playing along the lines of how the original trilogy was like building up to the whole Luke, I'm your father thing. I know that's not the actual quote, but the idea of the bad guy being the father of the main character.
I feel like you have to watch Star Wars when it comes out in the order it comes
Yeah, 4,
out.
5, 6.
Because
1,
if you
2,
watch
3.
it the correct order, the Luke, I'm your father is not a good reveal because you kind of know that.
No, but
Yeah.
Going in.
can you imagine?
You do
Yeah,
know that,
but
yeah.
the big problem is 1, 2, 3 sucks, right? So
Yeah.
like already it's like you gimp the whole series. But what if it was like 4, 5, 6? You watch it 4, 5, 6. Okay, like it becomes a cult favorite. And then if 1, 2, 3 just absolutely blows your mind, to the point where it's like you sympathize so much for Anakin that you know what, the Jedi's were the bad guys and shit that led up to this.
Like
that
he
you
was-
sympathize with Vader.
But that's
going
one
up
of
to
the
that.
disappointing things of the new trilogy now.
It's
like
just
they're
three
crap.
ass bullshit.
Yeah, it's like you're just using like old characters just as cameos, so it's like, oh yeah, you relate to
But
the
isn't that-
audience, but it's like the story itself is pretty
It's
bad.
it's horrendously bad.
But I feel like that's the trend now. Like even the new Terminator was a rehash of Terminator 2.
Yes, that is horrendously bad too.
Terminator 2 was the best.
And then
though, so-
they should have just done something like Fast and Furious, where they just get rid of everybody in Fast and Furious
And
and
just pick,
only
like, obscure
just the Rock, and
and
Jason
just go
Statham.
obscure.
So
it's not
just
even
the
about
Adventures of
racing
Jar Jar
anymore.
Binks.
It wasn't. It was like it's just tangentially related to cars.
Yeah,
It
they'll
just
have
almost like a
cars in it.
super soldier cyborg guy.
Yeah.
Can you
He's the
imagine
Black
like
Superman.
you try to compare that movie with like the first Fast and the
Yeah,
Furious?
where they're actually racing to now it's like just full out like explosions, fights, and like
Like you make a time machine, you go back in time to when first Fast and Furious got released. Right in front of the theater, people are walking out. I was like, "Oh yeah, that was a sick movie." You see that drag race? Yeah, I love the imports. And you're like, "Guess what? Can you imagine?" It's like, "Guess what? In the future movie, there's gonna be the main bad guy. He's gonna be a fucking cyborg."
I just got a brilliant idea. Crossover Fast and Furious and Transformers. Let's do that.
And Jumanji, just because The Rock is in
No,
there.
then we tie it in with like freaking.
You know what? The Rock would have to fight John Cena because John Cena represents Transformers.
Oh fuck yeah,
It would be really good.
John Cena.
Do, 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 do.
Oh my god! You know, it would be like a masterpiece on so many different levels. You got the WWE aspect of it as well, and then Transformers and Fast and the Furious, and fucking there were like Mark Wahlberg as well.
Oh man, Vin Diesel would be in it.
Just make oh my god! What if we predict the future trend of movie going, and it's just crossover franchises?
Everything's doing crossovers now. Like clothing and stuff. It's like shoes are doing tons of crossovers. There's new crossovers for like Adidas and Star Wars. There's been Game of Thrones and Adidas.
So would you
Nike
say
and, like,
that
yeah.
this would be the logical next step? That it would be full-on movie crossover?
Definitely. They're
And-
already doing like Marvel Universe and
Yeah.
stuff. So it's like they're already bringing stuff together.
The next step in their thinking and in the evolution will be Fast and the Furious, Transformers, Vin Diesel, Jason Statham, The Rock versus Mark Wahlberg, John Cena. Fucking who else is there?
They're losing so far.
Shia LaBeouf.
Chef.
There's the girl. What's her name again?
Megan
Fox.
Yeah. Oh my god, this would be just a fucking mess, just a buffet of movie going experience. Oh my
Bring
god.
Pacific Rim into it eventually.
Yeah,
Godzilla. and-
Godzilla.
Oh yeah,
everything.
Godzilla versus King Kong's already a thing.
But that's kind of like
that's-
the
yeah,
Monster
that's-
Universe.
Yeah, they've already.
There
that?
hasn't been like Transformers and Fast and the Furious universe. Oh my god, this would be
Crossovers.
I think this will be the starting of the collapse of society. That's when you're starting to see these like chimera amalgamations, these monstrous amalgamations of like entertainment.
But it'll
and
be so good for a short time.
just decadent. That last release of like fucking ecstasy and DMT before your body dies. That's what it would be like.
Well, it's like new stuff stopped coming out. They're just rehashing stuff
It
or
is.
remaking stuff. So, why not do crossovers so it feels new?
I feel like there are new stuff. You just don't. You have to kind of search for them, right?
But it's
Oh,
so
yeah.
yeah, it's so indie. You know
It's
what
so
I mean?
indie
Like
now, yes.
it's like big things. There's no new big things coming out. Everything that comes out is almost like,
Like your-
an
your-
indie and artistic.
Yeah, if you look
really
at what
niche
Disney's
film.
doing, everything's been done before by Disney.
yeah, I felt like His Dark Material is pretty good on HBO. It's
I
like
haven't seen it.
It's a
haven't
new
seen
TV series. It's a TV series. It's based on the book. Well, same name, same title. But there was a movie that was made for it back then. It was called Golden Compass.
Okay.
Wait,
So-
what's this called again?
His Dark Material.
Oh, okay. I've seen the first episode of it.
You seen the first? Yeah, I thought it was good. Like it's a BBC movie distributed by HBO.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's
I thought it was good.
Really good.
I have no idea what it's about.
well, it's a commentary on religion, but
Okay.
it's pretty cool. Like the graphics are really well done. Like a lot of good actors.
Oh, yeah.
What was it? What was the original? What was it called?
There's a movie called Golden Compass.
And I seem to remember. Is there a polar bear?
Yes, there's a polar bears.
Doesn't
Okay.
It's known for
jaw
the
get,
polar
like,
bears.
ripped off or something?
Yeah, that was
Like
in the movie Golden Compass. There are polar bears. Well, basically, like in this, it's like a fantasy world where everyone has what's called demons. They're kind of like your Digimon. They're part of you when you grow up. You have this Digimon that can talk to you, and they
Yeah.
can talk to other people too.
Yes.
But they're like your soul. So if they die, you die, kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
Oh, really?
Or
If they die, you die?
Yeah, They're your
Supers.
I just say if
Digimon
you die, you
soul
die.
powers.
Yeah.
If you die, they die.
Let's make a
and-
movie with that concept. You die, you die.
If you die in Hawaii, you die in real life.
Imagine that. You die.
What
you die.
the fuck?
Who started this concept? But yeah, it was good.
Actually, you know what? I want to see what the Wheel of Time series when that comes out.
Yeah.
I want to see what that's going to be
And
like.
there's the
Where's the sun
Watchmen.
when you need him?
Yeah.
The Watchmen looks good.
Well,
haven't
but
seen
I
it.
watched the first episode.
if we're saying like, oh, if there's any new things that are it doesn't seem like new things are coming out. Let's just see what
Like-
these are like when they come
Well,
out.
like the thing is, these new things are based on.
You're right though.
source
They're
material.
old. They are source material.
But Watchmen isn't. It's based on source material, but it's also original because there is
Well,
a
yeah.
technical sequel.
But it's
right?
like, yeah, it's branching off of that. But I mean, like actual new IPs and stuff, you don't see that as much of
Yeah.
those anymore.
Yeah. Well, the challenge with new IP is the investment, right? Like,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just riskier. Like I guess an industry as big as movies and television, they want things that are proven. That
I want to.
it costs millions
Yeah.
of dollars
Well,
just to make
it's
something
like-
small.
It's like anime and stuff. Most of them are based off like a manga, right?
Yeah,
Or-
exactly. Because anime
movies and
costs
stuff like
way
that,
more
too.
than to make than the manga. Because manga, you just pay one artist, and you
Or
just
like
make
a
them. You
circle
force
or
them
something.
to work till he dies.
Yeah,
kind
they
of
work
thing.
like crazy.
They do work like crazy. Like
If
the
you
guy
get
that
if you become
Bleach.
successful, then you don't have to work. You can like sit on your manga for a
you
year.
work even harder. Like the guy who made Bleach, you could see that he was really upset with Shonen Jump. near the
Yeah,
end.
okay, but the
So
guy
did
that
they-
does Berserk, well, how long has he came out with a new fucking
For Bleach,
issue?
did they even finish that, or they
Yeah,
just
they
like
He did
killed
finish
it?
it. He did.
So
Like
it did come to an end. a
Yeah,
it did
resolution.
end. It did end. But
Okay.
like his final chapters, he got so lazy because the backgrounds he stopped drawing them. They were all white or black backgrounds. Like in the beginning, his backgrounds were super detailed. He put all his effort in it. And near the end, he just didn't give a shit.
Fuck, that might just be his own fucking fault for just fucking convoluting the entire story.
Oh yeah, he
I'm
kept
sure he
repeating
still
his
made
same
money.
story.
Yeah,
it was so bad.
Jesus.
I've never read it. I've only watched the show, but I stopped so
It gets to
many
a point where
times.
like, fuck sakes, like
Yeah.
why?
There's so much filler too.
Oh god. Oh, that doesn't compare with Naruto film. Naruto
Oh,
was
yeah,
like
yeah.
the king of filler.
I had to look up like which episodes to watch.
It was like
This-
years before they came up with a new episode, and by then they had like hundreds of episodes worth
Yeah.
of fillers.
It was
Like,
terrible.
There was probably like a whole batch of kids that grew up just watching Naruto filler.
Yeah, I don't doubt that for a second.
I think animes don't have fillers nowadays. I feel like they just kind of.
I don't think there is.
No, there's a lot
There's
of
not
them
as
are-
many that are like super long, like
There's
Bleach
only
and
like
Naruto.
One Piece that
Yeah,
keeps
One
on
Piece
going.
is still going,
Right.
but it's
And-
still huge.
Yeah,
Does One Piece
and
have
if-
fillers?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh,
I think they have the most.
Yeah.
Maybe.
just because they're like
Uh,
maybe
they're
the
just the
longest,
longest running.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy, but the guy is like he's just like the fucking energizer bunny. He just keeps on.
He's
going.
ridiculous because if you look at his track record, he's still number one on Shonen Jump.
Yeah.
like it's no one could take the crown from him.
No, it is insane, and even the Naruto guy, he's kind of starting it again with Boruto.
No, he's done.
Well, no, he's come out
Is he
with a bunch
Boruto?
of
I
shit.
thought someone else took over.
Boruto's
No,
a
that's him.
freaking anime already, and I'm like, didn't they just?
Because I thought he
start
got
the anime?
married because he couldn't get married until he finished Naruto.
Yeah, and then
Is
he
he
started
just like-
Boruto, and it's just like basically
Hopefully that's
full
his
on-
own rule.
He's like, oh, I can't have a kid until I finish.
Well, it's basically
Naruto.
like it was like him quitting smoking, right? And then he started taking a little bit more drags of cigarettes. So it's like, oh, after Naruto is done. Except I'm gonna do a short thing about his son, Boruto. You know what? I'm gonna write a little bit more. You know what? I'm just gonna do fucking full on series now.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw a lot of Borutos on the train when I was in Japan.
Yeah,
So it's
Lot
pretty
of
big
ads.
then.
that's
Yeah,
just
I guess.
wow. Actually, what I aside from porn, yeah, I guess.
And Dragon Ball Z is
I
kind
mean,
of.
aside from porn,
Like most people would just
You don't
read porn.
see ads for porn on trains, though, do you?
Well, you can tell. You can tell what would be porn.
what?
Well, just based by the cover.
There's a woman. That's porn.
Yeah.
She-
Well, you can read the Chinese. Oh, if you can read the Chinese words, some of it is like like mature woman or
I'm just gonna
Oh.
assume
Whatever,
everything's
whatever.
porn.
I guess
Yeah.
I'm just like desensitized because like when you're in the U.S. and Canada, all ads like are half naked women, and they're always trying to sell you something.
yeah. Except
they're
this
not
one is
porn.
it's anime half naked women advertising everything as well.
Yeah, That's actually because I had this couple and the wife didn't know anything about anime.
Yeah.
And her husband was just buying all these models of half naked women, and
Yeah.
she's just like, I'm just so weird, confused. Like, why do these things exist? And like he would like display them in their house.
Yeah.
And her mom would come over, and she'd also be confused.
But they wouldn't be like, this is disgusting. They'll just be like, oh,
No.
that's nice. Like, it's just like one of those things.
They're just
oh,
like
that's nice.
they're just like, oh, that's what he's into. Okay.
Yeah. Like, if you,
Yeah,
it
at
would
least
be
they're accepting of it.
completely
They're
fucking weird
accepting
to
of it.
us, but like for them, it's almost like you just have a poster of
And I
like.
guess they're supportive enough that they just allow them to display it. But yeah, they're
That's good though.
they don't understand it.
At least they don't kink shame him or anything.
It's different. There's
Yeah.
no shame in
There's
that
no
thing
shame
over there.
Oh, it's a good relationship. I guess it's a healthy
Yeah.
marriage.
I mean, yeah. I want to see what does bring them shame though. Like, what would something that we do that we don't find shameful, but they're like, oh my god, I can't imagine someone would live like that. You know, I would.
I
be
haven't
caught,
seen how I live.
He's like, I would be caught dead. I would be caught dead showing someone that.
Oh, your anime collection.
No, yeah, well, whatever your equivalent is, that just disgusts them.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like,
Show them my porn collection. We'll
Would
see.
you like if your guest room had like bought anime covers and that would you sleep in it if you like came to, you know?
yeah, if
guest room?
you're a guy straight from Japan, you'd be like, oh, this is just like home, I guess.
Yeah, it's just like my room.
It's just like a room here where you just have like
Like bed
pictures of
sheets.
like bikini models or whatever, I guess, right?
What kind of bed sheets could you get?
I remember
Oh, yeah,
one
you
time.
could get the pillows, the bed
Oh,
sheets,
for the pill.
everything.
Okay,
You could get
I was
the whole
imagining like a
cycle.
whole like mattress
whole
bed
thing.
sheet.
You could also
thing.
get those too. Yeah,
Yeah,
Really?
you could get the whole thing.
You
the
could
whole
lie
deal.
with an anime.
Well,
character.
I've seen the ones for like the pillows.
Yeah, the
like,
bed will be like the spot you can have like your waifu.
Yeah, like on the bed,
on that spot.
and then you can switch her out with the body pillows.
Yeah.
I only know this for the body pillows. How is it for like the bed though?
It's
the whole
just
the
it's
sheet.
just printed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
printed
printed
on
on the
there.
sheet.
Well, what do you get out of? Okay, I'm not gonna question it.
What would
I
you
guess
get?
I'll just have to look into
Get out of
this.
the same amount as the pillow. You can also get the mouse.
Starts
Google
ordering
history,
it on Amazon.
you know,
The
get
mouse
ready for
pads,
weird
like
things.
the boobs, could be the where you put your wrist.
Yeah, I've seen those.
Yeah, you
There's
can-
these, so these
That's kinda
places,
stupid,
there
though.
are.
Well, I shouldn't say that's stupid.
Are
I
they-
just don't like mouse pads.
I
Like,
thought they were just kind of clever. Yeah, I don't like mouse.
I
Not
think,
people.
I
Yeah.
think just to
it's clever. I
just
just
to
don't
find
like
the
mouse
stuff
pads.
that like is disturbing to like other people, but is not disturbing to like the different groups of people. I just
people
find
that
really
know
amusing.
weeb culture.
Yeah,
What if-
I find it really amusing. Well, just even like small stuff, like on the train, Japan, just packed on the train, right?
Yeah.
And it's so normal for them. Like if for us, if it was here, people would be like, "What the fuck, man? Stop like budging into me or whatever." Over there, it's like they packed us in that I was basically just fucking smushed together with another woman, and she's just carrying out a conversation like it was normal.
I thought they
Yeah.
don't talk in Japan.
No,
In the
yeah,
train.
then on the
well,
train they
they're
will
probably
talk.
talking to each other on the train.
Rush hour, yeah, they're standing next to each other. They're talking about.
Oh.
They're talking to each other about whatever, fucking guys or shit or whatever. And I'm just sardining. I'm just plastering into this woman because you get to the station, people just come and they just push in, and then you're basically on the glass. And I was just plastered up against her, and she's just carrying out the conversation. I'm basically like this.
Where
And
does your hands go? Like,
I tried to get them fucking away from her
do you have
body.
to be above your head.
I tried to get them. No,
Well, that's the thing. Like, how many people do you think got falsely accused of groping?
Well, that's
just
why they have
because it's
that's why they have the women trains because
Yeah, I know, but
it's so
like,
easy.
A lot of them could have just been like, I got pushed into it, like legitimately.
I was thinking that like if they feel you like fucking grabbing and shit, they'll probably have a problem with you. But if it's just like you're just smushed up against her, even if you're smushed up against her tits, but you know it's just because the train is packed, that's completely normal
Oh,
for them.
I
Yeah,
see.
and then here's
So
like,
it's where
Because
your
I was
hands-
there, I was face on face distance away. They're just having a conversation.
I only had that experience once because it was on Halloween though, and so it was like tons of people.
Yeah.
I took the train and I'm like holding onto the bar above me, so my hand is up, and then there's like this girl that's like about the height of my shoulder,
Just going
and she's
into
like
your
right,
armpit,
yeah, she's
yeah.
like right at my armpit. She's holding,
And she's
she's on her
normal, too.
phone.
Yeah, she's on
the
your
phone's
phone,
like
yeah.
digging into my ribs. I'm like, if
Completely
she's
normal.
okay with this.
Over
okay.
here, like you might get punched if you
No,
did that.
here, if I'm on the bus and I just like bump elbows with someone like lightly, one of us is probably gonna apologize.
You
Yeah.
probably have to go like no homo.
Yeah, over there, it's just like
Okay.
over there. If she turned her head and just breathed, she would have fogged up my glasses.
No, I'm like, it's a long day. I've been out the whole day. I'm probably sweaty. It's like she's right
Doesn't
by my
care.
armpit. I'm like,
I was
if
sweating.
you're
I
okay
was
with
fucking.
this-
I traveled. I was walking the whole day. I smelled like fucking a gym. a gym locker room, she didn't give a shit.
To actually get because I had a backpack on which had like a huge like stuffed animal in it, so it's like puffed out. I was trying to get it off, put it on the rack near me.
Yeah.
But I'm like the train's starting to move, so I'm still holding onto the bar, and on the other hand, I'm holding my phone, and to get it off, I'm like. I just asked this lady next to me, he's like, can you just hold my phone? So it's like, she was like some Australian lady, so at least she understood me.
Oh, it's not
So
Japanese.
she like jacked or she didn't jack.
She's like, hey,
she held
hey,
it for
hey,
me
takes your phone.
politely. Yeah. I'm like, there's nowhere she could go. If she tries to steal it, it's like, you can't move a foot.
Yeah, it's definitely that's what culture shock. Well, I guess what a good example of culture shock would be.
Definitely.
They're completely used to it. We're not used to it.
It was a total gong show because I was walking the Shibuya street on Halloween. Just waves of people, like literally there's people all around you. You can't move without them moving. So when the traffic lights actually change, you can actually feel it like a wave where it's like people still trying to move behind you.
Yeah, and you're getting pushed.
And then, you're getting pushed back the other way because people are stopping for the light to change again.
Oh, that must be...
So it's like you feel pushing back and forth, so it does feel like...
If you have a problem with personal space, a lot of these Asian countries, it's going to be
I was swearing
very bad.
in English, and people were looking at me.
Yeah, they're like, what the fuck's wrong with this guy?
I'm like yelling, like, what the fuck? Stop pushing me! And then you just see people around me, like,
this
looking at me.
fucking psycho that's yelling at everybody.
What the fuck is going on?
That's probably what it is for them, because they go through that every day, right?
Yeah, they're just like, chill out, dude.
Yeah, fuck, man. They're like all these foreigners, all these aggressive foreigners coming over.
I actually, someone was dressed up as like the Marshmallow dude, the musician. So he has like the thing on his head.
Yeah.
Oh, Marshmallow.
Yeah,
Okay.
I actually accidentally elbowed him in the mask. I think it put a dent in it, but he was walking the opposite direction.
How do you not know if he's the real Marshmallow? Because no one really knows.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't really matter. Either way, I elbowed his head. His mask got like probably dented or whatever.
The point, Brian. The point.
If it was really him, I really wouldn't care because I don't know anything about him.
Oh, okay.
I don't listen.
Probably
to
heard his song on the radio.
I might have, but I really don't know.
Yeah, it's personal space. Asia's pretty bad at that, and people expect you to kind of be okay with it as well. Like they'll stand close to you, even if you if you feel like it's in your personal space. To them, it's completely not even something that they consider, right? So that's the fucking culture shock for you.
But that was the only instance.
Japan is actually one of the more extreme ones. People don't get as sardined in China and Korea as well. Like
I don't think they're as tightly packed.
you don't push into people on the train in China and just try to pack everybody in.
Whereas like major cities like Tokyo, I think they have those
They
people
do.
that actually like their job is to
police?
push people.
Yeah.
in.
Yeah. And it's the citizens, the people during rush hour. They just do that. Like
That's their everyday life.
themselves. They keep on pushing.
That's how you get
into the
to
train.
work and school on time.
Yeah. So for us, I was like looking at full trains during rush hour, trying to get on, and I had like a suitcase too. I was like, oh yeah, there's no way I'm fitting on there. It'll be like by our standards a full train. But then I saw other Japanese people with more suitcases than me. Just fuck. Oh, this is pretty good. It's pretty empty. Just plows right in. And I was like, oh my god, that's what you have to do
I
here.
feel like they
I'm so glad we
redefined
don't
the
have
word
that here.
compact.
Just plow, and everybody, like, no one's saying like, oh man, what the fuck, man. No, they're on their phones and they're just getting plowed in, and they're just getting like,
That's what I kind of like though. Everyone basically minds their own business.
yeah, they're getting plowed in and they're getting
just-
pushed
they
up, and they're
just
just
accept
looking
it.
at their phone, and like it's completely normal.
Yeah, as long as I could scroll down to the next Twitter feed, I'm good.
Yeah, you can basically be knocking into them. There's like glasses can be flying around. They're like, oh.
But you grab one ass and suddenly you're the asshole.
I know, right? What an asshole.
And they caught you red-handed.
Didn't happen to me, but
I mean, like, how would they know whose hand is it? Like, it could be you,
They-
or the person beside you.
They must know, because they're so used to in this environment. They probably have some really good spatial awareness of who's grabbing their ass.
I mean, they went to the extent where phones sold in Japan, if you take a picture, it has to make that shutter noise.
Yeah.
Oh.
Some people, if you're in Japan,
Like,
big
you
hot
can't
ticket
silence your
item
phone.
is to
Yeah,
get
you
a
can't
foreign
silence
phone.
the shutter sound.
Interesting.
You want to get a foreign phone so you don't have that shutter sound if you want to be
I
one
didn't know
of those.
that's a feature.
Oh yeah.
You want to be a voyeur perv.
Yep. Me. Wait. No. I totally didn't do that.
You use the selfie stick and you're always holding it below you.
Should do that.
No, it was Halloween. I was just taking pictures of people on the street.
Without their consent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
from the bottom too.
Well, you know, if it's their fault if they walk into the
you
shot.
Post it on Twitter.
The only Twitter I have is our account. Verbal laxative is just a firm account.
Check out this upskirt shot.
We would get way more followers that way.
And probably get shut down.
I mean, based on the data you showed us of our listeners, I think that's probably where our audience are waiting for.
Yeah, according to our search thing on Spot, or was it? No,
Spot-
YouTube.
YouTube or Spotify?
It was YouTube for search terms. That how people reached us.
Japan AV.
90% of it was Japanese porn related.
People are like, wow.
We got to use those tags more. Apparently.
I know. I know how to use the tags.
We
man.
could use it now for
you
this
just use
episode.
it
It's
Strategically
relevant.
used.
Oh, so
Yeah, I gotta input the tags. every time I
that's why
upload.
we're getting the wrong traffic.
Well,
getting
our
the right traffic.
The title of the episode was like
yeah.
me not or becoming a
You becoming an AV star.
Yeah.
Oh.
That was the title.
they're like, oh, I didn't learn anything about how to become an atheist.
They're like scrolling through the videos, like where there's no pictures or anything.
No, the title was literally just Jason goes to Japan to pursue his dream of becoming an AV star.
That's ours. And Andrew Yang, he hasn't given us a shout out yet for.
Oh shit! Yeah.
It's only a matter of time, right?
It's only-
You want to talk about Yang?
Sure, I haven't read much about him recently, but what's on the dealio?
I don't know. You want to
I
talk
just
about
wanted to talk about him. You know,
He's
Oh,
getting
yeah.
more popular, and the more
He's getting more popular, yeah.
the other guys are fucking dropping out. Kamala dropped out. Kamala.
Kamala, yeah, she dropped out. She was saying that the cost of running her campaign just too much, and
She just sucks. She completely
just
blew
sucks.
it. She blew it so hard.
yeah, I just don't think. I think it's more about her popularity. And
Yeah.
people like, I don't know. She's not like, she's kind of wishy-washy, right? Like about the whole what is it called, Medicare. Like sometimes she's on it, and sometimes she's like against.
Oh
it.
yeah, that's not even her. Elizabeth Warren got called out for that shit because she's like backpedaling.
Oh, is she backpedaling?
You know how everybody was trying to get in on that Bernie popularity, where
Yeah,
Bernie was basically saying like, no hesitation, just Medicare for all,
Yep, Medicare for all.
universal healthcare.
Well, he was also
and
saying.
everybody was saying stuff like that, but
Yeah.
you know, they now people started to kind of walk back from that, like Buttigieg and all those other guys. Like, no, we have to pursue some kind of like option. And Warren was basically saying like, no, we have to find a pragmatic solution, kind of just walking away from that.
Oh, wow, because she was part of like the Bernie train.
Not really, Bernie. Like, it's just a very popular platform.
All right.
It's probably actually, you know what I think is probably like the single most popular thing that could make or break in America right now. And Bernie's got like a monopoly on it, but it's just that he doesn't have the backing that like someone like Biden does.
The backing in terms of financially, or
Just
what
political backing too,
do you mean? Oh, I see.
media backing as well.
Well, yeah, but the reason with media and the political backing is because they're owned by these big corporations. And
Yeah,
they don't
Well, he
want
said-
Bernie to win.
Remember, he said it during that debate. He's like at the debate. I think it was a CNN debate. He was like, "You're gonna see a you're gonna see a commercial. It's gonna be a healthcare insurance commercial, and they're gonna say shit against single payer or whatever, right?"
Uh-huh.
Like he was basically saying it. Like CNN, it's like one of their sponsors is a fucking health insurance company. They're gonna run commercials today. At the next commercial break, they're gonna run.
Dude is a genie.
Bernie's like, he's like, oh, you're gonna hire.
You know, he says it's like you're gonna see this bullshit play right in front of your eyes.
They're like, thanks, Bernie. Now let's cut to that bullshit.
And cue.
It shows the exact ad that Bernie was just talking about.
Yeah. Oh my god, and then it's just like for us, we're like one step ahead. We don't have to worry about universal healthcare. We all basically have that. What the Canadian argument is for is universal pharmacare now
Yeah.
for drugs that aren't covered under healthcare.
Actually, with Yang, I remember he was trying to sue. What was that debating studio called again?
I don't know.
But basically, he was complaining
He had
that
a lot of beef,
he
yeah.
was not getting the minutes.
MSNBC didn't give him minutes.
Minutes, exactly.
He said but he said something that I actually profoundly disagree with him. One of his policies, he kind of backtracked on one of the things he said initially. And initially, he said one of his things was he doesn't like the fact that someone like Jeff Bezos pays like zero tax or whatever,
Yeah.
right? And his whole shtick with everything plus universal income was, this gives more power, more spending power to like the lower rungs of society, and then it would benefit them more, and then the top guys won't. It's trying to get money from the top down to the bottom, right? Basically.
Yeah, they're redistributing the wealth.
But then he said, someone asked him about like, oh, what about a wealth tax and a net wealth tax? And then he's like, no, I'd be against that because even if you look at some countries in Europe, they've abolished their net wealth tax or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So he's saying,
I think from his vision, from a lot of the talks he says, he says the wealth tax just ineffective. That people are going to find loopholes around it.
right. But that's where I profoundly disagreed. And then I'm also saying like, it's either he doesn't really give a shit about this or he doesn't care. He doesn't care about it too much, but it actually shoots him in the foot because even the European countries that he referenced, he's saying these things without like a context in it. Some of the reasons why these European countries did away with it, and what he didn't say is they substituted it with another sort of more targeted tax, is because the wealth tax in some of these countries, especially like Germany or whatever, right? What happens was, maybe the individual country tries to implement it, but then it doesn't transfer to throughout the whole Eurozone, right? So in a way, it's like the way the incorporation rules and how it's set up if you are a part of the Eurozone, like the European Union, it's like, oh, they won't be able to, they don't have to pay it or whatever because they can incorporate somewhere else. They can use European Union laws and rules to try to bypass that shit. So it's almost like they abolished it not because it didn't work, because it was ineffective in its practice, because this whole entire framework of either European Union or European agreements was working against it. So what these countries did was they taxed that 1%, that wealth, in different ways. So they would either come up with like a real estate tax, where it's like very targeted set tax, right? And what's different was between the USA is like USA is actually is more unique than a lot of these European countries in one specific way. And if you work in a bank like my wife does, you will be able to tell, because there's a lot of services that either U.S. citizens, you have to fill out a lot more forms and give a lot more information, because they get taxed by citizenship, right? The IRS has a lot of authority over U.S. citizens. Like if you're a U.S. citizen and you're trying to open up a bank account somewhere, that bank needs to send forms to the IRS. They need to fill out separate things. There's also banking services that can't be applied to U.S. citizens, and they'll say it like this sort of account for marginal trading or whatever. It's like it's not accessible for U.S. citizens, according based on U.S. law, and all of that is because the U.S. taxes by citizen. As long as you're a U.S. citizen, you have to send this information to the IRS, right? And that's how they calculate whatever tax against you. There's never been a wealth tax in the USA either. But one other country that does the same thing that the US that the US should do and has the same system is Switzerland. Switzerland also taxes Swiss citizens by citizenship. In Canada, you get taxed by if you have assets or if your job is in Canada, right? So if you are a Canadian citizen, but let's just say you work in Saudi Arabia full time or another country, as long as you don't own anything in your name in Canada, no property, no property, no assets or whatever, and no residency in Canada, you don't have to pay tax to Canadian authorities.
So do you pay tax to the country you're making money in?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
that's what you pay tax. But if you're a U.S. citizen, it doesn't matter. If you sold everything, you don't
So
have
then would you
anything to
pay
your name
tax
in the
twice?
USA. Yeah, you would pay if you're a U.S. citizen. You would pay the local tax and the U.S. tax.
Oh, okay.
You would have to pay.
But
or,
it'd probably be subsidized, the US tax.
ish, yeah. Like the IRS will give adjustments or whatever based on if you're working for the other. You already have to pay tax in another country, right?
Sorry.
But-
Before we go too far, what are you disagreeing on again? That
Like,
wealth tax
he
doesn't
says
work?
it's not. It's first of all, he's like all these European countries they got rid of it because it doesn't work. So on a couple levels, it's like this is almost tailor made for a U.S. sort of system because those European countries they had a lot of problems just because the way that
okay.
their tax system works
So you think-
and the way the European Union works and the way non-European Union countries but still within that inter-Europe trading country-to-country agreements worked, they could. Like it's almost like they could use these other rules to bypass it. It's almost like a useless kind of implementation of a wealth tax. But for a country like Switzerland and the U.S., like that, their tax systems is designed basically that a wealth tax is much more functional to be applied.
Oh, okay. Well, I think
And also like the fucking.
I don't know if he's against wealth tax
No, he
like,
said it was against. He said I don't want to use. I don't want that
because he has that value added tax, which is essentially a wealth tax. Really.
No, well, it's a consumption tax and it targets everyone. The wealth tax
It
is
targets everyone, yeah.
by definition like
But it would target the rich more than the poor, right?
not necessarily, because well, like the whole thing is moot because it's not like a wealth tax because it's a tax for everybody.
Right.
Right. So it's like, yeah, you can argue about the specifics that if you're rich and you're being dumb and you actually make big purchases out of your own account, yeah, that will count as a consumption tax.
From my understanding is the wealth tax, he feels that there are loopholes that the rich are going to find a way to get out of. Whereas something like a consumption tax or a value added tax, as he calls
But you see,
it,
there's the thing, like
sounds like
right
it's
now
harder
there's
to-
nothing. Right, so like don't
Yeah,
you
right
don't
now
have to
there's
talk about
nothing.
loopholes. No, you don't even have one. It's better to actually have like you deal with the loopholes when you implement as you go. Right, like that's usually the
I
sensible
guess from
logic
his
that you go around.
perspective is he doesn't see wealth tax working. Is probably where
No, his perspective is he has to pick fights, right?
right.
Because he has to pick fights based on like his basic income and his consumption tax and whatever. He would rather forfeit some fights to make these other things happen. What he's forfeiting is wealth tax, kind of that big fight, right?
But who?
He's foregoing that.
Which
quote
kind
unquote.
is pushing wealth tax? Is it Bernie?
Like Sanders is pushing for a wealth tax. Even Warren, in her whatever fucked up way,
Because
is
these
kinda
like
pushing
okay,
for that.
like the way I see it, like Sanders, Warren, and Yang, they're like the most progressive candidates. out of
They
the
are,
rest.
they're the most non-conventional. But Warren shouldn't even be
Like,
counted.
do you
there.
think they have a chance? Like, I know they're popular, but I just can't.
Bernie probably has a better chance at all of them? But his problem is that it's almost like he's always capped, right? Like he has a really big base,
Yeah.
but just by like systematic opposition against him, because if you imagine if all the contenders are like against him. And even like someone like Obama says like, oh, if Bernie got the nomination, I'm going to come out and speak against him and shit. And if you think about the broader Democratic Party,
yeah.
they stack it. It's stacked against him.
It is not good. Like, see, I think like they have the best chance of beating Trump because like
Yeah.
a lot of people who are Republican like those guys.
Yeah. Well, they could be. There's overlap. Like Bernie can speak to a lot of like Trump voters, and Andrew Yang in a sort of way, his ideas speak to a portion of them too.
Yeah.
For his neat bucks, right? But this the value added tax, like it's incorrect to say it doesn't work. It does work. Like countries that countries that have a wealth tax, it goes a long way. It doesn't solve everything, but it goes a long way to solving the inequality.
It seems like when you say you totally disagree, it sounds like it's just a nuanced disagreement. Because in the end result, you're still their goal is to redistribute wealth. How you approach it,
right, but it's a major tool that you can use, right? Like imagine you have to try to get a screw out, and you're just saying no, the screwdriver is not the best tool to get it out with.
Yeah, you're using a different tool. But
Right, but then you can
your
just
end
say
goal is to still get the screw.
yeah, but also like, but then you're just like, why the fuck wouldn't you use a screwdriver to get the screw out, right? Like why not?
Right.
right? You're
compared to,
making
like, a
shit
hammer.
harder this way,
Possibly, yeah.
right? So
I think from his experience, maybe. Well, I don't know by experience, but from his perspective, it just sounds like he doesn't see the screwdriver working, and he wants to use this tool that he feels is.
I'm saying
more
this.
guaranteed.
I'm saying it this way because if you look, what his opposition to it contradicts his message in a way, right? But so it's not like. I don't think it's something that he genuinely believes it's like too bad, but I think it's just too much of a complicated fight. He has too much on his plate that he needs to focus on.
Exactly.
So he's thinking like, you know what, let's not talk about that.
It's tough too because like when you're on those stages, like the news and stuff, you have to keep your message consistent and simple, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to add that nuance.
I kind of think that's sort of a gimme to try to get more people like more traditional Democrats in on it as well because the Democrats and Republicans are actually quite the same in a lot of economic respects. Like they don't want to raise taxes on dick all unless like they use it. You know, like they want to basically want to protect the rich. Both parties. Like there's no difference between both of them.
The current Democrats and the current Republicans.
Right.
But you never know. Like well, if Bernie Sanders comes in and
they fucking hate him.
Yeah,
they're
Democrats
scared of him.
Yeah, because they're rich and they don't want to be poor.
Yeah.
As a Bernie.
But like right now it's like anything goes because if Trump's president, anything goes, right?
Yeah.
Before 2016, all the pundits, when they all didn't go collectively insane, they still went on TV and just said their shit. But now after he got like literally that just meant all of them are completely
like
fucking
Trump
useless.
Recently signed something China was pretty unhappy with. It was something with Hong Kong, right?
Yeah, all these the stupid bill. It's a nothing bill. It doesn't do anything.
Yeah,
but it's
there's also
brownie points.
The win for Hong Kong protesters when they had that election.
Oh Jesus, yeah.
And they destroyed
the district. I want to say district council elections. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
well, you know what? This is the funny thing. Like people that kind of said, like, oh, the Hong Kong government is just a puppet of the Chinese government, and nothing we do can change anything.
Yeah.
That kind of just contradicted whatever they try to say. Right?
It's funny because like after the last episode when Hong Kong lost the university headquarters.
Yeah.
Like what happened? Like and then they did the vote. Do they still protest?
Yeah, there's like a 500,000 person protest the other day.
I don't know. I just haven't heard it after the
6 month.
Yeah, there's like an anniversary. They're doing it for the anniversary now.
They're on the anniversary episode.
But the council election is for like it's just like in the city we live in. It's just like electing your alderman, right? It's not electing the legislative council, which is like the big executive body that they do for executive votes. It's like the district votes, like they decide really local things, but instead has a message, right?
Yeah.
Like the messaging is these people they don't like the establishment and they are throwing in their lot with the protesters. This shit always goes back and forth. Back in 2003 when they had big protests again, that the election swung that way for them as well. Like they got these district council seats, like the pro democracy people. What happened was later on, they got disillusioned with that. 2007, they elected in pro-establishment people up until now, and then it's like a circle, right? Now it's back to the disillusion with the establishment or electing pro-democracy legislative.
Because like during that episode with the university, I thought things were getting really heated. I thought that was the final battle. But
it's getting even worse now. I think they found pounds of actual explosives, and there was like the police confiscated like handguns that were coming into.
Keep escalating.
So is that still so okay? I thought it kind of de-escalated with the university, but it just re-escalated again.
It re-escalates. It ebbs and flows.
Yeah,
it ebbs and flows, and it's just like it's just up to basically the Hong Kong government and the police to get their shit together. Honestly, the leader, like Carrie Lam, she's such a, oh my god, she's such a moron. Like, talk about like she's like one of those parents where he's like, oh, I won't discipline my kids. I'll just keep on giving them candy and hope that they will come to their senses, right? Throwing a tantrum and shit, destroying stuff. You're like, nope, still not gonna discipline.
I feel like she has a tough position. No one seems to like her.
Yeah, because she made herself unlikable.
And she can't even quit her job. She's stuck.
No, that's the thing. People always say, the more like fanatical ones, they'll be like, yeah, she's a puppet. She can't be allowed to quit. And also, like, newspaper articles are also writing this, right?
Right.
But everybody has the fucking memory of the goldfish. Last time there was like big elections, Tong Ji-hua, or Dong Zhihua, or whatever the fuck he pronounced his name in Cantonese. I don't know how to pronounce in Cantonese. I don't know anything in Mandarin.
Mr. Tong?
Mr. It's spelled T-U-N-G. Yeah, his name in Chinese is Dong. But
Okay, yeah.
T-U-N-G.
Sounds
Tong?
Vietnamese
I don't
to
know.
me.
No, it's not. He fucking resigned.
Oh, okay.
He totally resigned, and he was a guy that like the Chinese government actually really liked. They wanted him to be in there. He fucking turned tail and just resigned.
Oh, okay.
So like
Might have been a
people,
smart move.
it's like people forget about these things, and it's like it's within your living memory, right? Like there's nothing stopping her from doing
It's
anything.
tough nowadays with all the news headlines.
When she says her shit, it's more of a pity party for her. Like if she really, I'm like Beijing probably wants her to resign now. You know what I
Why
mean?
can't they just fire her? Like,
'Cause-
point someone else.
Because that's the whole thing. Like, that's the thing people don't get. When they say they're not going to interfere with it, barring complete Hong Kong government collapse or national sovereignty issues or terrorism, that's what they mean. They're not going to come in and do anything.
Oh, I
They
see.
want her gone. They're not going to come in and fucking kick her out.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay.
They're more of a stickler for the big rules than the caricatures of them are.
So what's up with the university? Like, do you think they'll plan to come back there? And-
Yo, that shit was destroyed. Did you see the lobby of the university? Can you
Yeah.
imagine? It's completely wrecked.
It was wrecked.
And it's like
A lot of students, even foreign students, had to return home or try to return.
yeah, a lot of mainland students were like evacuated.
Well,
from
yeah,
there,
they
too.
went to hotels and stuff because they didn't feel safe.
You know what I didn't like? I didn't like when shit was heating up and they had the whole siege of the university.
Yeah.
I didn't like the parents coming out and saying like, "Hey, let the kids go home. Let the kids go home."
Oh yeah.
I'm like, bitch, you're it's like your kids are fucking like, your kids should get the book thrown at them, man.
I mean, if the kid's not involved, then let them go home.
Well,
Makes
the
sense.
thing is, they had that whole period. Like anybody that doesn't want to get involved in this,
Get
Yeah.
out.
you leave now. Like no one's gonna like the police will let you leave.
Yeah.
But after this deadline, everybody inside that university,
You are fucked.
unless you're
that
like
makes sense.
unless you're like medical people or you're reporters, like you're
They
gonna
missed
get
the
arrested.
message.
they
They
just-
just slept through it or
They
something.
just starve.
It's like,
Yeah. Can you imagine you slept through that? You were
Yeah,
in your dorm. You're like, oh fuck.
it's
trying to go to class or something. It's like, what the hell's going on?
if you ever needed to skip class, that was it. Like you couldn't even go to class. The whole like university was trashed.
That would be hilarious. Like you,
Professor's
They're
not
like
here in
pit-
15 minutes. I'm legally let's leave.
like you skip class so much that like this is the day you're gonna go to class and you find out.
Yeah, and then you walk into like the main hallway. There's like piss and bottles. There's like people sleeping everywhere. There's like fuck people making like firecracker bombs and shit. You're like, I picked the worst day.
to go to school.
Probably for like a tutorial too, an optional tutorial.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are great. I see. Yeah. Okay.
It's
So,
just gonna keep going until fucking something happens. Until people lose enthusiasm.
I thought
Or it keeps
the
on going.
university was something that happened, but I guess it wasn't enough.
No, it'll just keep on happening. Like, this is the worst because right now, it's like the entire city's youth are just in that rebellious mindset,
Oh, they certainly are.
right? So it's not gonna stop until they just keep on going because it's fucking fun for them.
Until
It's once
they
in a
grow
lifetime
up.
sort of deal, right?
Oh, I mean, they'll age around like 27, and at that point, maybe they'll stop.
Yeah, when they're 20. Let's wait another decade. While the whole place turns
10
into
years
Somalia.
will all be over.
Yeah, in 10 years from now, they're not gonna remember. Like,
Right?
yeah,
They're not going to remember.
Yo, but these other places, like, the funny thing is the news is focused on Hong Kong when, like, literally countries are melting
Globally.
in South America.
There's a lot of
Like,
distress. Yeah.
I forget which country it was. They last 2 days or something, they moved their government from the capital. They evacuated their government from the capital. I think it was.
Oh yeah,
It's not. It can't be Bolivia. It's
There-
one of those ones.
There's a lot of protests recently. Like Paris had one big one because they were changing.
Well,
their-
Paris had always had a big one.
That's true.
Then it was like
There was a
concurrent.
gas one.
It was
now.
concurrent with the Hong Kong protest. But the funny thing is, all these South American ones popped up after, right? Like months after the Hong Kong one was going,
Right.
and they popped up, and it's like people were like shot, like the machine gun, and people were fucking. There was like military coups, like everything you want in a fucking in like a fucking high octane action movie is happening in these places, but people are focused on Hong Kong where the cops.
You don't hear those.
The cops are worried to fire like one shot, and people are like just like with umbrellas and shit. Meanwhile, like cops in Chile are like, there was video of them like doing blow to like on the street. There's like 3 cops and they were just doing blow to amp themselves up to go beat the shit out of protesters.
Get paid for that.
What a job.
And so I was like, okay.
But it's certainly true that media is not.
It
fair.
definitely shapes your narratives.
It does shape narratives, and that's unfortunate. A lot of people consume that stuff.
Well,
Like-
it's like all they have access to for that information.
Like, can you imagine if someone gets news from us? We shape their narrative.
We would, and everybody would be like, "God damn Trudeau!" And fucking. I saw this news.
That's why it might be a good thing that I'm like the least knowledgeable on that stuff.
It would melt your brain, man. That's why you can't be like tuned in on this shit 24/7. It'll melt your brain. Like you'll just get angry because you'll be like, "What the fuck does happen?"
Actually, I do have a friend who gets really physically upset because of the Hong Kong protests.
Oh, which one? Physically upset? What
Yeah,
does that
like
even mean?
it affects them
Throws up
physically.
like, oh god.
Well, you could just see it in their face. They're just upset. And you're like, why you take it so seriously? You don't even live there. You're not even from Hong Kong. But they're just upset.
starts just like fucking trembling.
Yeah, start showing me videos of like police brutality and
Yeah.
stuff. And I'm like,
I mean, it'd be fair if like the person has a lot of family and friends there or something.
yeah, I don't know if they do or not, but
I was saying there could be a reason. They have a lot of connections or
they
something.
do. Yeah.
They're from there, but they supporting the faction that's destroying their city. I just don't. I can't wrap my mind around
irony.
it. You know?
Like let's say protesters win, who's gonna accept Hong Kong at that state, right? Like it's just gonna be a destroyed city at that point.
Yes, it's impossible. It's
Like the outcome
such a
of the
pipe dream.
protester winning is not a good outcome, I don't think.
yeah.
Right.
There is no outcome. Them winning is like a bigger disaster than
Yeah.
losing.
Because then you just have a wasteland of an island.
Yeah,
Like,
it'd be interesting to see.
I'm surprised. Like they were saying, the financial market hasn't been affected too much.
No, it's fucking gone. Like,
Oh, that's it. Oh, okay, never mind.
yeah, this is
around.
good. It's fucking gone.
How about real estate? Is it still high?
I would assume it dropped, but I don't know for sure.
Dude, they were offering like $9 a day at hotels.
Yeah,
just to try to
hotels
get
were
people.
like super
Oh yeah,
cheap.
because
Yeah.
they won't have business.
Yeah,
But then you're like, I can't even fly there because the airport's taken over by
You have to
protests.
fly into China and then like drive or walk there.
driving there would be like that scene from Black Hawk Down, where you drive from the
Yeah.
base into Mogadishu.
Like my friends, they recently went to Hong Kong. I think they went to Japan first, then went to Hong Kong.
Yeah.
And they were looking out the window, and you could see these cars, and they have levels of. I guess that's how you could judge the level of protest. Like, it's a level 5 or level 10.
Jesus.
And they're like, "Oh, you don't want to see a level 10."
Yeah, level 10.
Just like what?
I just want to see
I'd
that.
go there if I was like had superpowers and couldn't get hurt.
If you have your own transportation. If
My
you're
friend, my friend he has a winter jacket from Team Canada because his coach was the coach for the China team for the Olympics,
like, yeah.
and he's like, "Oh, I can't wear this to Hong Kong
Why?
because it says Team China."
Oh, that's why. I'm like Team
Oh.
Canada.
Yeah, I'm like
No, his coach Team China.
I see.
He had a bunch of jackets.
yeah, you don't want to
Team Canada code's like because they'll treat you better.
Sorry, Team China.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, better not be caught speaking Mandarin there.
yeah. Well, I'll be screwed because I don't know both, so I don't even know. I don't know enough Cantonese to save myself.
Neither do I.
To save yourself. Oh fuck! What was I about to say? I just remember something very hilarious, and it just slipped my mind.
Has it anything to do with the protests, or
Yeah, I think it was tangentially related to it.
yeah?
But yeah, so I mean the everything about this is noise. Like there's literally just noise.
It's
even
same with Brexit.
Even
like,
Brexit is not really noise. Because it's like something that's really gonna happen, right?
they've been saying that for years.
Yeah, but like if it happens, then it happens, right? Like they keep on moving the deadline and
They
shit.
keep moving the deadline.
But that doesn't mean that it's not a real deadline.
Like when it switched from who was the before Johnson? May. Like I thought the show was different, but
Yo, that shit is real. She
narrative
resigned
itself is
because of Brexit.
yeah,
It ruined her career.
it ruined May's career. Yeah.
But and it's gonna ruin probably Johnson's career too. Well, it depends. They're having an election. But I mean, like even like the Hong Kong bill.
Yeah.
That's a nothing bill. Like
You talking about the extradition bill?
no, not the extradition bill. The one that Marco Rubio sponsored, the U.S. Senate,
right.
like the Democracy for Hong Kong bill or whatever.
Yeah.
That's a nothing bill. Like it doesn't do anything.
I feel like there's all these problems that are so big, but they just get being prolonged. That I forget about them. Like the Huawei lady who got detained in Canada.
Yeah.
It's her anniversary. She's been here for like a year now, right? Like it's like God, she's still here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Things take forever to actually deal with.
Yeah, right. Media makes it sound like this is urgent and it's important, yet it never moves. Like you come back a year, the story's still the exact same.
You know, Huawei in
Nothing
China
changed.
right now, they're in a controversy right now, over one employee's story. Because one employee he got let go, and what he thought was they paid him severance package, like Huawei paid him severance package, but the way they did it and was not the normal way, and they also when he got the severance package, they accused him of like extorting for that pay.
Oh.
So he got like sentenced for extortion or whatever. But then on appeal, the government looked at his case and was like, "This is not extortion," because they had to get they got Huawei to give all the transcripts of all the meetings and everything. And it turns out like the employee thought this is severance pay that he's negotiated for.
Yeah.
Right. And so then the government was like, "What the fuck?" No, it's like there's no case here. So they released him, paid him compensation, and now like people online are basically saying like, "Oh, motherfucking Huawei!" Like they want this guy to sue the shit out of Huawei.
Yeah.
So right now Huawei's like has egg on their face in the mainland right now.
I thought that was also set up. Like Huawei set this guy up.
It was basically set like,
but then it turns out it was a mistake, and now people got the wrong story.
no, but the way they did it's pretty low-handed.
Yeah.
What was their goal there? Like, I'm sure the
I think
severance
it's
is,
just
like,
they had a
pennies
fallout
to
with this employee, right? They just had a fallout with this guy.
Trying to get
So
him.
it's more just out of spite, because I'm sure the amount they paid him
Pretty
was like
sure.
pretty
Pretty
low
sure
for a
whoever
company
his
that
boss
big.
was and whoever the HR person was at the time, they just had it out for him. Because like the way they paid him, they wasn't even a company account. They transferred the money by like a private account. So then
That's not sketchy.
and then they turn around and say, "Oh, he extorted that money from us," right? And it wasn't until the repeal, it wasn't until like the retrial, and then he won the appeal because the government and the police saw that the guy had it was nowhere near extorting. It was like a severance negotiation.
Good thing, all the evidence actually pointed towards that.
Yeah, no shit. So
That was a good story in the end.
well,
It's a happy ending.
Well, still, he had to go to jail for about 200 something days before his retrial took place, right?
Must have peeled a lot of garlic. I heard that's what China does with their
Well,
prisoner.
Yeah, well, feeling garlic
That's probably like the good side
that's
of
not the
things.
word I would feel garlic. I love the smell of
I
garlic.
don't think you get to eat though.
I'm sure there was
I eat
worse
the garlic.
things that he had to do.
Yo, but still, like
You're talking about showers and soap.
well, people are telling
no,
you're not gonna get fucked in a Chinese shower. It's not like an American shower. There's no culture of ass rape.
With the sisters.
Yeah, no.
I can't rule it out either.
Yeah, no. No, but they tell him to sue, right? Because the
Yeah.
government paid him. It was the equivalent of about like $50,000 Canadian, ish.
Oh, so they didn't really get that compensated.
Well, his compensation was that's a fair bit of cash from the government, but that's just the government saying like, "Oh, this is I'm sorry money."
Yeah.
It's not like his actual compensation from Huawei, right?
No.
It's not worth 200 days in
They should
prison.
force.
Yeah.
They should force Hawaii.
Yeah,
to
so
pay.
people online were basically saying like, "Fuck
Oh,
Huawei."
yeah.
They
Okay,
they're
yeah,
telling
I
the guy, fucking sue them. But the guy doesn't want to sue. He feels like it's like,
think
you know what, I've been through
cut
so
your
much
losses.
already.
It's also
Yeah.
it's also you have to have the money to sue. Like you have to hire
His
lawyers and all
his
that.
the compensation I think was about 70% from the government was about 70% of what Huawei was going to give him too. Like that 50 grand was 70% of whatever severance was going to get. So to him, he was like, whatever, I already got most of the money I was asking for or whatever. He just feels like he doesn't want to pursue it anymore.
Yeah.
But fucking, like, I think he should fucking sue the shit
Yeah.
out of Huawei.
Ball, yeah.
Right?
But
It would
coming
be a
from
long
a guy,
process too, though.
aren't you also gonna buy a Huawei phone?
No, it might be, but I was thinking buying the OnePlus phone.
Oh,
Huawei, I hear they're making their own OS for that. Might
well,
be
they have to
implemented.
because
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like it'll
Because
be
of the-
implemented within the next
the trade
few
war,
years,
right?
So.
Yeah, they
Who knows if
kicked
it'll be
in
good.
they kicked in a high gear. Like, did you hear the government has ordered that all government corporations, state-owned industries, and all public offices, all computers will be replaced with Chinese software and computers.
so is their developing language also gonna be in Chinese? That'd be weird.
I don't know. They're gonna come out with their own their own Microsoft Office and shit.
Because like when you look at computer language, a lot of them is written in English.
Well, what they probably do is just take like a root like Linux sort of
Yeah.
thing and just build
That's
it up
still
from
in
there.
English.
Well, no, it's like But the
I
whole
mean,
thing is
you
like
could
fucking.
set your variables to something like that's whatever sounds just.
It's just it's not like if it's English or not. It's just they don't want foreign control of it, right?
Oh, yeah,
Linux
yeah.
because it's fucking open
Open source, yeah.
You know, like you
Even
can
open source,
theoretically
man.
build it up from that, right?
Yeah. Actually, one thing I thought that's interesting is I think voting will be a system that will still be the traditional paper ballot style, and that it's going to be really difficult to automate, or not automate, but
You don't think they're going to be like blockchain voting?
yeah. So because that's one thing I don't think, because like one, I don't think people understand it, so it's hard for people to trust a system they don't understand. Because like one of the challenge with voting is that there's two things that you need, right? One is anonymous, right? No one can be able to trace your voting ballot back to you.
Uh-huh.
And then the other thing is trust, that people have to trust that the vote was done correctly, and then we trust the results. So with computers, you can't have both. You can't have someone who's anonymous but also trust that person, right?
Yeah, but then they also had like the traditional voting we do already.
Yeah.
It
It's not perfect.
it was already extorted already
super
back then.
primitive.
Yeah.
It's still, but it is better than electronically, right?
Well,
Because,
Arguable.
That's what I'm saying, because like electronic has. I'm saying the whole principle is like, when they started with the voting stuff, they had all those problems. Like people were double voting, they were registering dead people to vote.
Yep.
They were doing all that shit already,
Yep.
and it had to go through trial and error to kind of get to a point where
Trying to, yeah.
people had enough faith in it that it wasn't as like corrupted as it was in the beginning. Well, that's logically that's probably the same way that
oh, you're saying that
it would be
this
that
is the
the
same
electronic
challenge that we're
way.
feeling? Yeah.
Like in the beginning, it might have a lot of these problems, but
when you're talking about the same things, they get exacerbated when you look at electronically, right?
Yeah.
Like talking about fake users, like dead people. Like, can you imagine just bots and stuff? Like that's really difficult.
they still, even now, there's still sometimes when you go to like a really rural place and there's a discrepancy. Of
Oh yeah,
votes.
well, who was that? There was that election, like wasn't it Venezuela, where people feel like
Not even in Venezuela. I'm talking about like the United States of America and even Canada.
Oh,
Like developed countries, you still have discrepancies in some of
I mean,
these
either
voting
way,
places.
it's just fairly easy to alter the system.
yeah.
Even right now.
Well,
Yeah.
you don't
paper.
sometimes, like, for example, let's say you have an electronic system that can do that voting, and let's say we use blockchain as a way to make it anonymous, and it's a trusted system. Like, you don't even need to break the system. All you have to do is make people lose faith in the system, and suddenly it's gone, right? Like, all you have to do is like put a USB in the computer, take a photo of it, and then just spread it on social media, and people will start questioning.
The inverse is true too. Like you can take something that just by its fucking default, people really shouldn't have faith in it, but you basically manufacture this faith.
Yeah.
Like the current voting system is exactly that. There's no reason why you should actually give that much confidence to it. There's so many problems with it. There's so many ways you can actually exploit it.
Yeah, that's
And
true. Like, how do I know if my vote is actually being counted?
Like,
right?
exactly. But this
whole bucket
faith,
could just be
Or
getting
like,
burned.
like
faith-
why do I believe in money have so much power?
right?
Like,
'Cause-
it's just paper.
yeah, well, money in a way it's kind of the same with money, but like that faith is in itself it's an inflated faith in
Yeah.
our current voting polling way by paper. It's an inflated faith. If you look at it, if you can just look at it just fucking coldly, and just if you're ever gonna audit, you'd be like, wow, we're really trusting a lot of things here, right?
That is true. Well, even if you think of websites, there's the HTTPS secure websites,
Yeah.
and it has that green check mark. Like, we're putting a lot of faith in the company that does those green check marks, but like,
Yeah, you don't know. You just see,
like, how do we
it's
know?
safe.
Like, what if they have their own websites? They just give green check marks, but they're really not that secure at all.
So fucking there's
So-
no perfectly safe thing out there, but you can definitely tell the limitations of something like paper voting and people like physically having to count it and recount it and verify.
Yeah.
Like there is a definite limit of how far you can take that. Eventually, you can surpass. You can at least surpass.
Like, you're saying
the
that
limit.
eventually we need to go electronic. Is what you're saying?
Well, yeah. The more complicated the shit
Logical.
gets, yeah.
Like,
Like, are you gonna
why do we
trust
need
that
to
person
why do we
account,
need to
though?
go electronic? Like, why can't we continue to do paper?
Because right now
Machines are more reliable
Yeah.
than people.
But right now, it's like you really.
But there's also more vulnerable than people.
Well, that's the
Well,
thing. The fallacy is.
People are vulnerable too.
Yeah, right now there's a lot of vulnerabilities. Like,
Yeah.
like a lot of the stuff I talked about, like dead people voting. You still have that. Even in 2016,
Yeah.
they were talking about.
Sure, dead people voting. I don't think that's as bad as, say, bots. Bots are.
But you know, like
because
that.
at least those people lived at one point.
No,
Bots were never alive.
well, that's what you
doesn't
say.
make
Like,
a
no, dead
difference.
people
They're
voting. They're
also
using
not
like
alive.
they're using names of dead people to cast the vote.
They're
Not like,
essentially bots.
oh, this dead person would have voted for this guy.
I remember like it affected an entire 2000 election with Bush and Al Gore too,
Yeah.
where it was down to Florida for the recount.
And
And it was basically you're basing everything on the recount, and it was controversial exactly for that,
yeah.
right? And that decided who. That was basically that decided who was the president.
Mm-hmm.
So the vulnerabilities are there. There's a lot of vulnerabilities with it already,
Yeah.
and there's no way of dealing with that because it's the same fucking problems you had like during the 30s and the fucking back then when you were vote buying almost.
You know when people, when selfies became a thing and people were taking selfies of them and their voting ballots.
Yeah.
That's also bad too because if there's a picture of you taking a selfie of your ballot and they could see who you voted for, then that ballot should be voided.
That's just a fucking stupid. I don't know why people have to take fucking selfies and everything. Like, what
Oh
the
yeah.
fuck? Like,
One is why would they take selfie, but two
it's like, oh yeah, look, I'm taking part in the democratic
Never
process.
heard of that, but
Stupid.
yeah, that does sound.
Absolutely fucking.
Because I didn't I understand now that the reason you need it to be anonymous is that it's for bribery, right? Because if your votes weren't anonymous, people could bribe you to vote a certain way
Yeah.
by saying like all blue votes would get 50% off their tabs or something like that, right?
It's just one of those things where you can prove who you voted for, and you could possibly use that as proof for whatever benefits, monetary compensation,
Yeah,
blah, 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 blah,
exactly.
bribes, or like it's just no one wants you to identify yourself who you voted for. That's or else the whole system, the confidence in the system takes another hit.
Yeah.
But fucking like it already takes a whole bunch of hits already from a lot of shit. Like why not? Why not change the whole thing?
Yeah.
Right.
That would be. I think it's the trust because like trust
Is
is
that
built over time, right?
It is at an all-time low now. It's plummeted. You might as well. You know, have a better chance.
Just spin it up a new one. And
yeah.
I don't know. Is it easier to build when
Trust
when,
in everything is
when your trust
way
is
down right now.
like you say, like trust is low? Is it better to just start from scratch again?
Well,
or
if
is
you
it
were going to
try
introduce, I'm
rebuild?
saying if you're going to introduce something new,
Yeah.
Now's
the
time.
best place to do it, now's the time when trust is at an all-time low.
Oh yeah,
Introduce
because it
something
would
new.
have the most
The least resistance.
Least
from
resistant,
people.
yeah,
People are
right.
looking for something.
people are looking
For change.
We're looking for change.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how Obama won, right?
Yeah.
It is.
It's like I'm the change you're looking for, gas.
Yeah.
I'm
and then
black.
Nothing happened, and then they voted for change for Donald Trump after that.
Yeah, they voted for more change. They went from
They
the
voted for game
blackest
show.
president to the whitest.
I like to imagine that the entire electorate just started to be like nihilists and we're like, you know what? Fuck it. Game show host.
Ah, yeah. Talking about game show, did you watch that Jeopardy video?
No.
Oh, it was
we
actually
probably
very
ended on that. We're at, like, we'll talk about this and then that'll be a good wrap up for
Have you heard of this?
the guy that fucking gamed.
Oh, I
Jeopardy.
heard of it. I didn't watch the video.
Yeah, what was his name again? It was...
It's a guy that won like a ton, like
Yeah,
the most.
so he took a year to train for Jeopardy, and he
Let's at least get this guy's name down. Let me.
yeah,
I'll search
should get
for
his
it.
name down. I remember the other guy's name.
Ken Jennings. Was
Yeah,
that-
Ken Jennings. Yeah, he's a very popular one
Yeah.
among
The other guy, I do.
Jeopardy's
I
fan.
can imagine his face. I've seen him on a lot of times.
Yeah,
but
he
I don't
also
remember
hosts his own game show, Ken Jennings. He has the most consecutive wins, around
Is it
70.
James Holzhauer?
Yeah, James Holzhauer. Oh yeah, James Holzhauer.
Dude just goes for the mad
So
amounts.
James Holzhauer, his
Gambling
style is a
man.
little bit different. He uses game theory in addition to his knowledge of Jeopardy.
And gambling.
And gambling, yeah. So he's a professional gambler, and he's studied Jeopardy, and he's been training for a year before he went on the game show. And then when he played,
His methods of training, he looked at children's books,
Children's
like visually.
books,
Yeah, no, that's just a
heavy
good way that
books.
like a lot of people study those topics because
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
easy to remember and stuff.
yeah, I think it was just like rather than learning all the details, you just learn just the general
Visual.
stuff. Yeah,
Visual learning.
and the way he plays is like because Jeopardy's been a game where people's been videotaping, so people has mapped out the probability of where things are, like daily doubles and things like that, right? And statistically speaking, daily doubles has generally been on the bottom half of the board, and so traditional Jeopardy players will play top to bottom, row by row, or
Topic by topic.
top to bottom, and then they stay in that column. So they'll pick the easiest one, like the 100, and go down to the 1,000 or 500. Whereas James, the way he plays is he plays from bottom up, and he goes column to column. So he'll jump to different categories and just hit them all. Because what he's searching for is the daily double. And his strategy is to build a huge amount of money, get the daily double his money, and then have such a huge amount that when they get to the final question, it's mathematically impossible for anyone to win.
Yeah,
anyone else
at that
to
point,
win.
his lead is too much.
His lead is too much, and that was the style, and it's been very effective. The other thing nice about it is that, on average, his winnings was about 70,000, whereas an average Jeopardy player is about like 20,000. So he was every game, which is like 5 days a week, he was gaining like 70,000 on average, right? So a huge hit on Jeopardy's budget. Because if you're a TV show and you're a game show and your budget was like, well, generally our winners they'll take home this amount, and you're budgeting for that, suddenly you have this James guy come in and like throw your budget out the window. Accounting will be on
Changes
your
the meta
ass.
in Jeopardy too, because everyone else that wants to go into Jeopardy, they're gonna be like, you know what, I'm gonna play.
See,
like his
that's what I
style.
thought about too. I wonder, like, because of James, does
New
it change the meta?
generation.
But I don't think it does, because I feel like it doesn't attract those players. It doesn't, like, Jeopardy's not a game that attracts gamblers. So I don't know if the meta does change.
So how did it attract
Not
him?
so
then?
much. I still, they should still actually randomize the daily doubles. Not that it'll really change much as a result, but
yeah, you
gotta
think there should be
add
spread
more.
it? Well, like, but that's the thing. I don't think the meta's changed. That's why they don't randomize it.
yeah. But
Like, they probably still keep it statistically the same. Why did James? James grew up watching Jeopardy. He always loved Jeopardy.
So it's
Like, his
so
amount...
he wanted to destroy
His
it.
amount of winning in Jeopardy wasn't for money. It was just, I think he just enjoyed it. That's why. And he was a robot. He answered questions like a robot. Actually, one of the things that helped him do so well in Jeopardy, like when I said he trained, not only did he train the question, he trained how to hit a buzzer. And he read a book about how to hit the buzzer. So like,
book on it. I could see there is legit.
like there's a
technique,
way
but
to hold a
book-
buzzer. You don't hold it with one hand and you aggressively press it. Because the way the buzzer work is, you can only press the buzzer after Alex Trebek finishes the question.
Yeah.
And you have to wait for the syllable. And so people analyze the way Alex Trebek speak to figure out what syllable, how you pronounce certain syllables, and time it. And if you press it too early, you get timed out by like a quarter of a second. So then James, he's figuring all this out. So the way he holds it is he has his hand with the buzzer, and his other hand holds his wrist to rest on it. And that's how he does it. And that's how you have the most quick reflexes. So rather than holding it above you, That's how he presses it. So that's why the other contestants were angry. Because not only was James unstoppable, they couldn't even answer the questions because they couldn't get their turn. The other part was James was just, he knew enough the answers, and he was very confident in his style playing that even if he lost all his money on Daily Double, he would just bet it all again because he knew that statistically he's going to get it right. And if you look at his accuracy, it was like 97%. The other leading player, Ken Jennings, in the past, his was 91%, and he has the record of the most consecutive ones. So James was more accurate, and he was taking way more money than Ken. Within 3 months, he made as much money as Ken did in 72 games. So in 30 games, he made $2 million. 72 games, Ken made $2 million. So it was insane how much money he was making.
So he's saying he hasn't broke Jeopardy yet. He's a one-off.
He didn't break Jeopardy because Jeopardy broke him. Because there are, with Ken Jennings, when the streak was going on, they were trying to say, we should kick this guy off the show. Well, I'm speaking for them, but I would bet they wanted to
Jeopardy needs to silence you.
Yeah, they wanted to silence because they're like, well, we can't keep shelling out this money to this guy. So so there are a couple of ways Jeopardies can do things. One is change the questions that they ask.
Kneecap you.
Or the other thing they could do is change the difficulty of the game. All right. So they made it really hard. So there's a score that Jeopardy fans give each game or each episode, and that's a score based on how much money people take home. So the more money you take home, the higher the score is. And so there's a game that Ken Jennings, when he lost, statistically that game show had a really low score, and no one knew any answers, so no one won any money, and he just got beaten by luck because during the final question he just didn't know the answer and someone beat him, right? With James, that didn't seem to work too well because even though no one knew the answers, everyone else didn't know, but the way his style played, he still was able to come ahead. So they went the opposite way. They made the game super easy, so that way his advantage of knowing the questions didn't really matter. And they also picked contestants that also studied Jeopardy as much as he did. So then he didn't really have any advantage at that point.
They could have just nerfed him and just slowed down his buzzer.
I like to imagine,
they could do that too.
that would be cheating. But I don't.
Yeah,
I imagine
obviously.
Jeopardy sends fucking thugs to your house. He sends Alex Trebek Jeopardy sends Alex Trebek to your house, to James's house, and
it's I thought you had cancer. Oh, no, I was just a front.
Yeah, no, he gives him this person in the lore flew too close to the sun and got burnt. And then James would be like, what is Icarus or whoever, right?
Yeah.
And then Alex Trebek is like, wrong. It's you, James. Who is James?
He looks at him.
And he looks at him, he's like, make sure you lose the next game. Throws the card at him, walks away.
Here's a voicemail of your wife. Please, James, help. I don't know where I am.
It's a bad time to badmouth Alex Trebek, though.
Well, he's just a messenger, I'm sure.
Yeah,
he's healthy now, isn't he?
No.
He's in remittance or what?
Oh, is he?
Yeah, his cancer's in
I think
remission.
people are still saying I love you, Alex Trebek.
Well, no shit, because it's in remission. It's not.
Well,
out
there was that one instance that made headlines or whatever. Just the guy wrote down his answer for Final Jeopardy was "We love you, Alex" or whatever. And, he got all choked up, but, he kept his composure because he's a professional and continued on. But it's that made news. And,
yeah.
Well, yeah.
He also was wrong, though.
Well, yeah. They actually made the actual answer was supposed to be, "We love you, Alex."
So he's got the composure. If you want to send a message, you send Alex Trebek.
Do you think Jeopardy will continue on after Alex?
I would think so. It's one of the longest running games.
Because I feel like people are such diehard fans. I don't know if they will accept it. Because
it's Price is Right.
Who watches Price is Right without Bob
Enough people that it still is going on.
Yeah.
I guess.
They'll
Drew
get someone else.
The host of that now.
Drew Carey, yeah. He's such a different person than I remembered him.
Oh, yeah. He's thin now.
He's thin, yeah.
That's how you remember.
I don't even recognize him. But
health or recognition?
I guess
He chose health.
People are looking at Ken Jennings as the next host because he does host game shows. So, and people really love them from Jeopardy, being the contestant.
I never seen him as a host, so I have no opinion on that.
He just seems like a nice, generally likable guy. So,
as long as he's well spoken, because that's the biggest part of that job.
Being well spoken.
Yeah, you don't want
someone with an accent
Yeah,
Or
I
someone
guess
that
so.
can't pronounce things.
or pronounce it like multiple times. Like
Yeah, you don't want the
enthusiasm?
you don't want the girl
Enthusiast?
that says like "Catch me outside" and host Jeopardy.
Has to be well spoken.
It's almost like the spelling bee guy.
What? Who's
Like,
that?
The guy that reads out the words.
The
and
guy
stuff.
who reads out the words, yeah.
Yeah.
And then like, can you say in the form of a sentence and then?
Well, Jeopardy is eternal. I guess.
Yeah, I think. Well, it's on.
like
It's
the
on
classic.
Netflix now.
Yeah,
There's
some of it.
episodes on Netflix. Yeah.
It's not like a huge catalog. Well, they do have a catalog of it, but it's not like a lot of it.
This seems like this
Just
is
because
like
there's so much Jeopardy.
this is like the death throes of Netflix. Once you include Jeopardy onto,
I feel
your
like-
streaming service.
See, like, have you guys got Disney Plus? We talked about this earlier, right?
Disney
I
Plus?
want to say yes. I want to say yes. Whatever next thing that you say, I want to.
Well,
say
I was just
yes.
saying, like Disney Plus seems to look immature. Like, it seems like a great thing, a great streaming program to buy if you have kids, but it's not great for adult content.
There's not much on there yet.
Like, not adult content, just mature content, not mature.
You go from Lion King to
content
hardcore
intended
porn.
for a more mature audience.
Yeah, with the PG.
Hardcore porn. The porn
Yeah, they
offerings as
don't
well.
have porn on Disney Plus. That's what they're missing.
They're missing that JAV.
They would be ahead of the field because Netflix doesn't even have porn.
That would be worth the money. Right now, I don't think it's worth the money.
Yeah, right now I don't feel like
They don't have much on there yet.
there's just a lot of rerun of TV shows that I watched as a kid. And I'm like, oh, that'd be cool
Yeah,
to have, but
that's-
that's about it.
All I've watched is Mandalorian's the only like thing that's outstanding for it. Everything else is like stuff I've seen before.
Yeah, Mandalorian definitely like the meme of Baby Yoda's amazing.
God, you just like ruined it for a bunch of people that haven't seen it yet.
Oh, is it a thing?
It is considered a spoiler.
Oh, but I feel like people love memes. They would have seen the memes without me saying it.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's
How do you
highly likely,
like?
but-
I never seen Mandalorian, and I already saw the meme. Like, it's not like I looked for the meme. The meme found me.
Well, that was supposed to be one of the big reveals of his bounty that he was trying to collect,
Oh, okay.
right?
Is he an original character?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
He is Prince Oberon from
Oh.
Game of Thrones.
Oh,
No,
I see.
Not like he's actually Prince Oberon jumping universes. After he had his skull crushed in. That's why he wears the helmet now.
Ah, sweet.
How can he see?
But one
course.
thing I think Netflix does well is, I think Netflix is like, it's such a, like their content, they're trying to aim for the biggest audience, right? Like it's so
Oh, yeah.
variety.
I think
So
we-
I also feel like the problem I have with Netflix is like there's so much content that a lot of the times when I feel like I'm sitting down to watch Netflix is I'm just browsing.
You think that it's because of so much content? I think it's from a deficit of content.
Like there's so much content not for me but just for everyone else. I just feel like there's
Oh, you mean just other shit that doesn't interest you?
yeah, like I'm always just browsing.
It's like back when we had cable, you know, you got a lot of channels, but there's nothing to watch.
Yeah, but at
so
least
it's
I
good
watch
on
stuff
cable,
that
yeah.
like, I don't intend to watch, but I just watch it just because it's on. Like reality TV shows. Sometimes I don't want to watch them, but they're on and the channel's there. I'm just too lazy to change it. Just watch it.
Yeah, that's not an option with Netflix. 'Cause maybe they
One
should
thing I
have.
miss about cable. You
Yeah.
used to just like go to a channel you liked and then just
Maybe they
leave
should
it on.
have one. They should just have like a shuffle channel
They
for
should.
Netflix.
Oh yeah.
You know, like you just want to have something in the background when you're cooking or whatever. Maybe they just have like maybe 3 different shuffle channels.
Yeah.
One shuffle
Well, you should be able to like
documentaries.
select shows you like, and then they just like pick random episodes or whatever.
Yeah, either by
Yeah.
genre
Yeah, just like
Yeah.
or by whatever. But
Or
just
just- or
auto shuffles.
make a
get-
favorite list.
You get like an episode of Friends, and then after that, it's like, oh, an episode of Office comes on, and then you
Yeah.
know, after that, you
that'd be great.
Oh
Jeopardy.
fuck, man! All right, so Netflix. Anyway, if you're listening to this, yeah, like credit us
That would be a good feature. Yeah,
in the
like,
form of money.
you favorite a bunch of stuff.
Cocksuckers.
And then just have a function that says show me something, and then you just click on it, and it'll just pick a favorite or pick something that you watched before that you enjoyed.
Yeah.
We've made this suggestion in December 2019.
So either pay us for that or give us a show.
You know, they'd be like, "What if we offer you a
Don't you
spot
want
on Netflix?"
this content on your freaking crap?
Fuck, man. I hope
Like, what if we're on Netflix?
if that happens, no, like if they actually introduce something like that, I don't know what I do.
Lawsuit.
Absolutely nothing.
And then we get destroyed.
I'll just be one of those things where I'll be having grandkids in the future. It's like, that fucking. I won't be swearing to my grandkids.
Yeah, you will.
The new Netflix sort of deal where there's a shuffle channel. Yeah, your old granddad invented it. He's like, okay, fucking
Grandpa?
boomer, you piece of shit.
Netflix hasn't been a thing for like 50 years.
Yeah, the new Netflix.
You'll be
Yeah,
like,
new
"In my
flicks.
day."
Holoflix, yeah. Hologram flicks or whatever the fuck. Yeah, I was the one that came up with that. Me and 2 other guys. We talked about it in our basement. It's part of the show Verbal Laxative. You can go to the library, you still find it somewhere.
What do
Old internet trash. Yeah, my grandpa's such a fucking boomer. He thinks he invented everything.
It's actually recorded unless we lose this recording.
Yeah.
That'd be embarrassing.
Well, once you put it on internet,
Can you imagine? Oh god!
Well, I mean,
Please
like,
don't
we
silence
could
us.
Still just lose this.
If Netflix sends goons to like silence us, well, you know what? This is not something to die for. You can have it.
I'll die for this.
Okay, Jason will die for this. And if we're successful in lobbying you guys, then yes, make the check payable to all 4 of us. There's Hassan as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, like,
But if it comes down to you're gonna kill us, then don't kill us.
I mean, just
Only-
give us some money. I mean, you
Only
can
kill Jason.
afford
He's
it.
volunteered. He volunteered.
He volunteers as tribute.
Go down as a martyr.
We'll have like a spot for you always. Just your picture and your mic. Oh yeah, your
You
mic.
move out of this house, and it's just like the next people move in, just like super creeped out. Holy fuck! Did you see that thing in the basement? What the hell?
It's like a life-size wax statue of you sitting with your microphone, just smiling.
Why didn't we get mics during like Black Friday?
Oh, that
That
would
didn't
have.
occur to me until now.
Well, I mean, we still have Boxing Day.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
All right, man. So you going to Hawaii tomorrow?
Yeah, I should really
Yeah.
pack.
Don't pack anything, man. Just skinny dip. Show up on the
I
plane.
mean, I could, but I can't. I'm pretty sure it's illegal for most places.
Do Hawaii vote for the president?
Yes.
They
They do?
are a
Okay.
state.
Yes.
Okay, just not Puerto Rico, I guess. Well, not just Puerto Rico, but
Puerto Rico.
they're not part of the 50 states.
Fuck. I have to try to remember. I know they don't have they don't have state representation, but I think Puerto Rico. If I could be wrong, I think Puerto Rico does vote in the federal.
Huh.
I think. I am not sure at all. Do not quote me. I deny everything.
That's a good note to end on.
Yeah. Another trivia there for our audience.
I don't give a shit. Yeah, whoever knows that shit, give it to me. It's American technical fucking bullshittery. Whatever.
Oh, we should sponsor McDonald's, or not sponsor. Shout out to McDonald's. $3 Big Macs till the 16th.
Yeah, I only shout them out if we get anything from it.
Yes. Man, we shouted them out so many times. They should be paying us.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
know how often I go there?
Actually, I go there for a lot for coffee and breakfast.
It's good
sandwiches.
coffee. It's good breakfast. We're giving them
Well,
free
no, the
fucking
breakfasts
plugs.
aren't good. They're more calories than Big Macs. They're
Yo,
actually-
but it
No,
tastes
but it
good.
tastes good.
Yo,
It tastes
you tried
nice.
the new like fried chicken?
yeah, I did.
I like those.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I felt like they had a lot of mayo.
New fried
They
chicken.
do.
What?
It's like a new breakfast sandwich.
It's like the
Oh,
big
fried
chicken,
breakfast
big
sandwich.
Yeah.
muffin, whatever.
Yeah,
I'm like the newest thing I've seen there was like is it Cajun fries or something? They have fries with some other seasoning on it.
No, I don't think that's lasted. That's seasonal because they got rid of that. They kind of got rid of that thing I really enjoyed. It was like create your own burger, and then they had that fancy burger person lay your pickles and stuff.
You can
That's
just
what Harvey's does.
Yeah.
but McDonald's
Harvey's
had
makes your burger a beautiful thing.
McDonald's had that for a bit. It was like
a custom burger.
You can make your custom burger, and then I maxed out on all the free items, like pickles. I maxed out to 10 of them, and the guy who got the order, he's just like, "What the hell?" And then he made
Yeah,
it so
that'd be
neatly.
gross.
He like stacked them so nicely.
It was you. You ruined it for everybody. But you know, you could just
Yeah, that
take.
might have been possible.
You could take the original. You could take one of the burger selections they have and just start adding that shit in.
I'll make it my own. Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard people do is like they get a McChicken and a Big Mac and take out the bread piece from the Big Mac and put the chicken in, and then you get like.
No, you get a double. Was it freaking double cheeseburger and a McChicken, and you put the McChicken in the middle. It's a McGangbang.
Oh, okay. That's all bread though, right?
Well, I didn't. I did this was like years ago. I had that before, but I was like, that was probably like 10 years ago now.
Was it good?
Yeah, it's okay.
It's
nothing special.
It's
It's
just
a gimmicky
it's just
thing.
like a brief foray into decadence
I think I
for
recall.
the affordable.
I told friends about this one. So we went to McDonald's. And a friend goes up to the counter and he actually asked for the McGangbang. I'm like, it's not an actual item on the menu. That's just what people call it.
They make it.
No, they're not. It's like, no, you gotta order the two different sandwiches. You put it together yourself. It's just called a McGangbang.
Oh, but they gave him instructions.
No, I told them the instructions.
The person at the till had no idea.
Yeah, they're like, what the fuck?
This will reach corporate later on.
They're like, okay, let me get us in the back.
Boardroom meeting is like, the underground is up in fucking like chatter about something called the McGangbang.
I don't even know. I wonder if I Google that, it'll actually show up or something, or if it just be porn.
I hope it's porn. I hope it's porn.
It's just
The McGangbang is just a McDonald's porn parody.
that's how they get you in.
Hey,
Ronald McDonald and the fucking Hamburglar
So
just
first
fucking...
result of just Googling the word McGangbang is a McGangbang is a McChicken sandwich inside a double cheeseburger. McDonald's isn't the only burger chain with a secret... Okay, no, the rest is garbage. But yes, so I was correct with what it is.
You know, In-N-Out Burger, they actually I think they make the secret menu. Like, you can order the secret menu.
Yes.
Yeah, you
in
can
the
order
same
secret
That's the
menu.
thing with
little
them.
line,
Because
they
they're...
say In-N-Out and Shake Shack are in on the action and more official capacities.
Yeah,
And
they
many
actually
can
make it
cobble
that
together
cheap. Because if you remember when we went to In-N-Out Burger in
Yes.
Vegas, the selection's actually quite slim.
They were very slim. We didn't know the hidden menu.
Yeah, we didn't know the
Yeah.
hidden menu. We were a bunch
'Cause
of
we're-
rubes just ordering
We're
it.
just Canadians going to a foreign land ordering
Hey, yeah.
burgers.
Why are you guys good?
Yeah, that was the question. Like, why is it so popular? It's because of the hidden menu.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you don't order stuff off the menu. you order stuff.
They
off
know
the-
how you're how to know you're a fucking narc at In-N-Out Burger. You order off the menu.
They're probably looking at me like, "What did you want? You wanted stuff out there?
It's like
You're crazy."
it's like that joke we made a long time ago about me going to a drug dealer. It's like, I'll have one drug, please.
That'd be it. Thank God In-N-Out Burger didn't just fucking
Yeah,
riddle
that
us
was,
with bullets on the spot.
That was a disappointing experience with In-N-Out.
Well, now you know.
Now I know. Yeah.
You can take these learnings to Baltimore too.
Yeah. When I go there again.
Please live stream it this time. I really want to see it.
This is actually called a secret menu item.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What were you looking at?
No, it's still the McGangbang Google results.
This
I was
is
just going through
unofficial-
more results to see.
Unofficial
like, if it
secret
is-
menu.
Yeah.
All right, we're at like 2 hours 40. This is probably the longest episode we ever recorded in the
Yes.
history.
If you listen to all of this, good on you. Congratulations, you made it through.
Jesus Christ.
Yep. Thanks
Do
for
something
listening.
with your life.
Do something.
No,
with
listen
your-
more.
Listen more. This is your life. This is your life now.
Thanks
All
for
right, man.
listening.
Have fun in Hawaii. Don't get
Thank you.
destroyed, raped, murdered.
Yeah. Sunscreen. Mark.
Sunscreen, yes.
I just
But you
bought
also have to
some-
buy certain sunscreen. They don't allow.
He got
sunscreen.
SPF 60. He's
No,
good.
no. You have to buy certain sunscreen for the coral. Like if you
Yeah,
have
like
the
minerals,
wrong
what
sunscreen
a
and you
friend
go in
was
the
telling
water,
us.
you're like they ban you because it hurts the coral.
Did she get something to fucking hurt the coral?
Well, she was saying how to get like mineral ones because that one is like fine to use, but
Okay, so it seems like you did your research.
well, no, I did no research.
I would have just gotten SPF 1000 and went in there.
The FTS isn't. See, the problem with SPF is that even if you get a higher SPF, you still need to reapply it every hour.
Okay, but it
2
is a
hours.
higher SPF, right?
Yeah.
It's like military grade sunscreen.
Well, the way sunscreen works is it converts the energy from the sun to heat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want like SPF like 5000, whatever it is that makes it into just a paste. This is like a cake of mud that you
So
can
you
just
just
cake
change
from.
your skin color.
Yeah, you just armored up.
Just cement yourself. Like,
You're impervious to
becoming
the sun.
whiteface.
Like this is the sunscreen that they're gonna use if they ever do a mission to the sun.
This is the whole white face issue now.
All right. Let's wrap it up then.
All right.
All right. Thanks for
Thanks.
listening to another episode after a long hiatus. We'll see if we can come out with an episode when Jason's away, but
I'm only gone a week.
No promises.
Yeah. I'll probably be back.
Unless, of course, I don't knock on wood.
Yeah, knock on wood. I
Just sail away by the sirens.
Just get kidnapped and turned into like the sex
Become
object
an
again.
Yeah, again. That's how we get more hits.
All right. Thanks for listening.
Hey, thanks. Have a good one.
Like, comment, subscribe, Twitter, YouTube, whatever.
Stuff. Yeah.
Bye bye.
Do it.